opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. It is Monday, September 23rd, 2024. I am your host, Scott Lewis. You know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network on all social media platforms at Barbers Chair Net. Follow our partners, H&B Media, H&B Media TV on Twitter, and at H&B Media on Instagram, man. Get in tune with our Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. As you can see right up here on the screen, if you got your phone up, you can hold up to the screen. It'll take you right to the link. We got 4 different tiers: Summer Sessions tier, 79th and Hallis tier, I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, and of course the Barberchair All Access tier, which is $10. If you get that for your subscribing, you get 25% off your first order at the bcnetshop.com. But if you've already been on there, if you already ordered, haven't ordered yet, go straight to the website bcnetshop.com. Get all of your I'm Not Gonna Hold You gear, all your 79th and Hallis gear, all your Barberchair Network gear in general, man. We've got a packed show for y'all today. Courtney will be joining us in the second hour per usual. We got our college football correspondent, Sports Illustrated's own Kyron Samuels will be joining us in block number 3. Today we're going to lead you right up to the kickoff of the 2 doubleheaders and 2 games in the doubleheader for Monday Night Football. By the way, the doubleheader with both the games running at the same time, stop doing that shit. I know we got different ways to watch the games. I'm probably going to have one on the big screen, one on the iPad, but just do the old school. When they used to have the old school, we had an East Coast game on first, and then you close the night with the West Coast game. It'd probably be Raiders or Chargers, something like that. Bring that vibe back. Like, I don't need to be watching 2 games at the same time. I'm too old and my attention span is shit. So, yeah, we're going to lead you right up to that. We're your unofficial pregame show here on Mondays, man. But I'm going to bring in the rest of the crew. We got Mikey, we've got Bang, and we've got Dante in the house, man. What's going on, yo?
So y'all boys?
Dante got the Don Julio bottle on his head to tell you how his night was last night at Mercedes-Benz.
If you follow me on Instagram, you heard me. I was loud as a motherfucker. They got smacked, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I only remember the first quarter, so I had a great night. No matter what the score was, it don't matter.
That's all that matters.
I'm trying to think. What's the most smacked you've ever been at a sporting event?
At a sporting event? Ironically, Bears Raiders in London. Boy, I didn't know where I was at till the second half, G. Because you got to remember, I flew out there on the 4th. My birthday is the 5th. And so when we was at the bar, like that video I always post when I'm holding up the Khalil Mack jersey standing up.
You got to get down, bro.
He said, you got to get down, bro. He said, hey, bro, you can't stand there. But nah, bro. When they found out it was my birthday, people just kept buying me drinks, G. Like, they would not stop buying me drinks. We met these German motherfuckers. They was like, oh, come on. They buying Jaeger bombs and all type of shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? G, when I tell you Justin and Kyle literally had me by the shoulders and walked me into that game, G, I was so smacked.
Like, there will be a big Barber's Chair contingent in London in 3 weeks. I'll be there. Pavi gonna be there. Dante gonna be there. The homie Kyle gonna be there. Is JB going? Is he going too?
Yeah, JB and his wife, bro. Everybody was there,
crew.
bro.
Whole crew finna be up in that joint. And that's why I said, yo, the show will still be on. Bang will be holding it down for us, hosting the show. Those two days, but I will be very intoxicated. This is London featuring the Bears in a couple weeks. But to answer my question, I asked the crew, my most intoxicated. I went to my first ever soccer game, nigga, 5 years ago. Me and Damien went to LAFC game at the Bank of California Stadium right next to the Coliseum. There's a spot called, it's not there no more, called Banditos in South Central. Nigga, 50-cent shots, my nigga. 50-cent shot. They tell you that's bottom. Yeah, exactly. You take what kind of time.
Illegal, my nigga.
Yeah, what? Nigga. We got toe up in there. Then we was drinking in the spot. I was yelling, "Go on!" I ain't know what was going on, bro. If I could find my old Snapchat videos, I'm pretty sure I looked out the game. It was a
you're paying 50 cents for shots of antifreeze, bro. That sounds dangerous. Any establishment that sells 50-cent shots, I think you should walk away. There's a clear health violation. I got two though. One of them was Bears, Dolphins in Miami. When Cody Parkey missed the kick. I tried to walk into. I was walking to security already fucked up with a gallon of Ciroc in my hand. And I'm trying to hand them my ticket and keep the bottle while walking in. And the girl's looking at me like, yo, like, that's not happening. Then the second one was Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman up in Barclays. I vividly remember getting into it with LaShawn McCoy because I thought those were our seats. It just so happened we were one section over, but we're sitting there, and then it's like me and my brother, and then he's looking, he's like, yo, y'all in my seats. And I was like, this fucking guy. I was like, these are my seats. I was inebriated, beyond like control. I got up, and I remember looking at him and like just laughing, and my brother grabbing me like, yo, my bad, we're good. So then we go to the next spot, the next section. I'm sitting down, like 10 minutes later, somebody's like, yo, you're in our seats. And my brother's like, all right, enough is enough. Give me your fucking phone because I need to see where our seats were. And we were like 2 sections over. We were in the lower pit, but 2 sections over. But yeah, I was smacked, bro. We ended up at Starlets. There were photos and videos of me that I would probably lose my job if they came up.
Hey, by the way, correction. It was not 50-cent shots. It was $5 shots. Correction.
Okay.
$5 shots.
So it went from antifreeze to AC fluid.
Right, exactly. Bang. What was most? Now, I know. Bang probably got wild. So I was supposed to meet up with Bang 2 years ago at that Bears game.
that's the
when
one.
They played.
Nigga.
I was like, it's pouring rain. It was the monsoon. I'm outside. I'm on the phone. Nigga, I'm down here. He said, no, we over here. We was probably in the same area.
Boy, I was slapped that day. But that is number 2. But that day, hey man, we tailgated the hell out of that day. We ended up on Channel 5 and didn't even realize we was on Channel 5 because they was in that tailgating area. And one of the homies texted us, was like, yo, y'all ass drunk as hell because we know when y'all drunk. But nah, it was Bulls Miami. I think it was the game where they went to overtime because Dwayne Wade had like a game time shot, and they went to overtime. But we left. We was already drunk as hell before we got up in there because we killed 3 bottles of Hennessy before we even got in the building.
Nigga,
and then when they was getting when the Bulls was winning, we was like, oh shit, I think we could go ahead and leave now. But then Miami came back. We tried to make our way back up in there. They was like, nah, hell nah, y'all can't come back up in there. So we was like, fuck it. And we killed the 2 other bottles of Hennessy that we had in the car.
Look,
I just sent y'all a picture of how the tailgate started.
Gee, this nigga got two different Bears hats.
Now this is when I was plugged with Ciroc, my people from Diageo.
Don't say that too loud no more, dog.
Right.
I was just about to say, you got a Deleon battle there too.
Yeah, no, that was all free. I got this. I know. It's gonna be, but then look at how I'm gonna show y'all. Look at how it ended. Look at how it ended. How the night ended.
God,
you broke your hand, nigga. Damn.
Honorable mention.
I punched my boy, and then my uncle, we're drunk, and he's looking at it in the stands. He's like, oh, yeah, shit. He's like, can you go like this? It's just swollen. We got, after the game, I'm like, I can't even move this fucker.
Honorable mention, I got super drunk at Dodgers-Padres game 2 years ago. It was Juan Soto's debut as a Padre. And nigga, it was about 95 degrees out there. I was towed up. And that's when Pavi and Damian told me, if you throw up, we not leaving this game.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna
if
say
you throw up, we not leaving this game.
a close second for me. Speaking of Hennessy, bang, my homies, we got a sprinter to go to the Dodger game in LA, obviously, and so
I know this story.
These motherfuckers pull out the XL bottle of Hennessy and we passing it around. We got blunts going. We got pulled over by LAPD actually, bro, and they didn't trip. And so we kept going. That's how I knew it was gonna be a good night. And we get in that stadium, and Mikey, your fellow Puerto Rican, my best friend, this motherfucker gets us kicked out the game because he wants to be a Super Cub fan in the middle of LA. So we got legit kicked out of Dodger Stadium. That is the only game in my life I ever been kicked out of, bro. And them niggas, they was like, "No, y'all gotta go." And I'm like, "Come on, bro. We just cheat." He's like, "No." He's like, "Get the fuck up." LAPD. He was like, "Get the fuck up now." I said, "All right, bro,
that was the weekend Dante came out to LA, and I was like, "Where y'all at?" He said, "Man, we over here on Manchester." I was like, "Y'all have a good weekend."
Yeah, we was on like 63rd or some shit. And he was
Manchester.
He said, "No, nigga." He said, "No, I'm in Culver City, but if you want to come over here,
right, exactly. You want to come over here? Well, it's good, and there's nobody on the corner talking about, hey, blood, where you from? Then we can link up."
That's the last time I got banged down in LA when I was over there.
Exactly.
Right by the Tam Burger.
Yeah, nigga went to Tams. Yeah, nigga. Pappy almost got a shot in Tams. Pappy almost got a shot in Tams too, but that's a different story.
That's crazy. Hey, Orlando, we got to say those stories for
summer sessions.
Yeah,
I'll tell the story of Pappy almost getting me him and my brother shot at Tams Burger and on Crenshaw, but that's a different story.
I gotta tell y'all about the how the round table discussion that started when my wife told everybody that I've turned into a lame. So we're gonna have a round table discussion about how I'm married, fam. What you want me to do? What you want me to do? You know, do you want me to unlame myself?
I definitely gotta hear. That's definitely gotta be on Summer Sessions this week, man. But let's get into the football, man. Dante, you can hit me with the Clinton Lane out. I got a rant to start this whole. Yeah. I got a whole rant. So I went to the game yesterday, of course, obviously covering the team. First of all, I'm gonna get the positives out. First of all, Lucas Oil Stadium. It's my number 13 stadium I've been to in the NFL. Nice stadium, or as bang as you put it, it's a nice, humble stadium. The thing I liked the most about it was the media parking lot was right in front of the stadium, and I didn't have to walk. That was amazing. But here's the issue, man. This is week 4. Week 4 begins this week, and we're already very close to DEFCON 1. And what was irritating about this game is something that I feel majority of Bears fans, I think we're all on one accord on this. I didn't see much debating on this in the offseason, outside of the Caleb Justin wars, was we all felt like Matt Ebeflus should have been fired. I think that was something that we all felt. Now, along with my guy Adam Johns of The Athletic, we both said in October, November-ish of last year, we don't think this guy's getting fired. He's got the locker room. Poles really respects him. Kevin Warren, the McCaskies. There's a difference between saying what I think was going to happen and what I wanted to happen. I didn't want that man to be brought back. I wanted 100% clean slate. If you're going to bring in a rookie quarterback, don't do the same thing you did on the last 2 quarterbacks. And it looks like that's playing itself out for the 3rd time. When you drafted Mitch Trubisky 7 years ago at this point, you should have fired John Fox. You didn't fire John Fox. Then you do the same thing when you draft Justin Fields. Should have fired Matt Nagy. You didn't fire Matt Nagy. Now we're back here. Same situation. You draft Caleb Williams and you don't fire Matt Ebeflus. Should have been straight up, rip the Band-Aid off and just go full on rebuild, and you didn't do that. This is something that my boy Mikey said. This is something that my brother said on the I'm Not Gonna Hold You Bears special, that they felt like Ryan Poles was building this roster backwards. And that's what it really felt like. You got your quarterback, you got your wide receivers, but you're not putting any assets into the offensive line. You're going bargain shopping in the offensive line. You don't fire your head coach, who is currently 11-26. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna sit up here and get mad at the Waldron hiring because the thing about offensive coordinators that are available, I just feel like the great ones aren't available to be offensive coordinator. I think the great ones usually are looking to become head coach, which if you would have fired Matt Ebeflus, you could have got one of those who pick of the litter, or you could have got someone who I think all of us wanted, Jim Harbaugh. And so I'm watching this play out in real time. And this is something we saw last week with the bad challenges that wasted 2 timeouts. Yesterday was even worse. When you score a touchdown, Caleb Williams gets his first touchdown of his career. Rome Odunze gets his first touchdown of his career. You do all of that, and you're not prepared to go for the 2-point conversion. Everybody, and when I mean everybody in the press box, from Chicago Bears media to Indianapolis Colts media, said before Caleb even threw the touchdown, you got to go for 2 right here. It doesn't matter 4 or 5 points. It's not that big of a difference. You still need a touchdown. Go for 2. So if we're saying this and we're not coaches, what does that say about who we got out there, coach? That's my first problem right there. Number 2, the end of the game would be different. Let's be real. That offense was terrible that we saw off there in Indianapolis from the Colts. Anthony Richardson, we'll get into our top 5 worst quarterbacks in the league in the second hour, but spoiler, he's number 1. That is a bad quarterback, and it's even funny now to me because I was at the draft when he got drafted, and I remember my brother yelling out in non-professional settings, "This dude stinks," when he got drafted. We were in the draft room when he said that, and it's all coming to fruition when we see. Another timeout that you miss right after you score. What are you doing? That final drive by the Colts is different if you have 2 timeouts left. That's a big issue. Number 2, Bears fans, listen to me when I tell you this, because y'all really be getting on my fucking nerves, man. I think I've said it before. I'm going to keep saying it. Bears fans are the dumbest fan base in football. Now, I'm also saying this because I mainly only know Bears fans. I don't really talk to other fan bases. So I could be wrong. Maybe this is just fans in general. That could be it. But we can't go from having all of these expectations that we had, and then all of a sudden y'all want to point fingers and act like y'all the ones who pointed out problems. No. That's not how this works. And I'm going to go even further with this. And this is going to make me sound like I'm a Justin Fields hater when I'm not. I am very happy that my boy's out there doing this thing. They're 3-0, and it's looking like he's around competent coaching. Very much love that for Justin Fields. And I hope they win a division. That's how much and Mike Tomlin is my favorite coach in the league. So that's nothing to do with Justin. But y'all can't be up here tweeting out stuff. Oh, you miss Justin Fields now? How hell bent was this fan base on 300-yard rushing games? How many times we hear that 300-yard passing games over these last 3 years of being a quarterback? Well, he don't have any 300-yard passing games. He's got one. Caleb gets that in his third start, and that's garbage time. By the way, there's no such thing as garbage time when you're not down 3 touchdowns. So let's get that out the way right now. You know what I'm saying? If you want to take out the big Hail Mary to DJ Moore, then whatever. But then you got to do that with every quarterback who done plays like that. It's petty. If you want to be real about the situation, first when Justin was here, QB wins on a stat when they kept showing his record on all these different media outlets. Now he goes to Pittsburgh. Now, he's 3-0. Let's tell the rest of the story. That team is 3-0. TJ Watt is a monster. Chris Boswell, their kicker, is their leading scorer. He has 33 points. Their leading scorer. Let's bring that back. He's still in the Bears right now. And Kyron Santos had 33 points, and he had 18. Y'all be saying the same thing. So let's cut that out right now, okay? I'm not going to be doing this all year. I know Mikey said that this is probably going to be your thing. I hate when Chicago sports fans do. Not just a Bears fan, it's Chicago sports thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a problem when you do this. Now, if he was out there, Mahomes in it out, Josh Allen out, okay, it's a different thing. And I think everybody with a brain didn't 100% just blame Justin. There was other things you see, and we're seeing that right here with Caleb. So that's one thing that we've got to stop, and I'm getting tired of as well. We're not going to be doing this all year. And I love Justin to death, but there's an up and down with him as well. There's going to come some games where he don't look like he know what he's doing. And so I'm not going to triple down and go in him on that. I need y'all to accept the fact that this is a decision that Ryan Poles made. Caleb is your guy. If you love Justin Fields so much, go be the Steeler fan. Leave us alone and go be a Steeler fan. So that's another part of it. I'm gonna go even further this when it comes to looking at things the way it's supposed to be looking to them. I'm not a moral victory guy, and I don't even think this is a moral victory. I think you're blind if you don't see the small incremental process that Caleb Williams is making. That Rome Odunze impressed me more than anybody last night because he really looked like he didn't know he was at these first two games. And you come off of scrutiny from these quarterbacks who, and no disrespect, aren't starters, were never starters in the NFL, going ahead telling you what you're doing. And I like Darren Orlovsky stuff. I like some of what's my man's name? Daniel, who used to play for the Bears. His name is escaping me. Chase Daniel. But y'all can't be out here doing this. Like Kurt Warner can say stuff like that. Kurt Warner, 2-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. I don't want to hear that from y'all. And he went out there and dominated. I better hear some apologies to that man. He's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Williams, I'm not going to sit up here and say he had a perfect game. Well, to me, it wasn't a good game. If I had to grade him, I'll give him a C-. I'll give him a C-. But it comes to coaching. Why is your rookie quarterback throwing the ball 53 times? He didn't even know he threw the ball that many times. We asked him the question in a press conference. He was like, oh, I threw it 50 times? That's an issue. You're relying too much on your rookie quarterback and putting in positions that he can't go. But I got to give him love that because he's backing it up. He had a bad first half. Second half, he comes out, he's looking really, really good. 2 touchdowns. He probably should have 5, but niggas had butterfingers in the first 2 games. I like the improvement that we're seeing from this kid, and it feels like he's getting it. That's not a moral victory. That's just the facts. And this is the thing I'm going to close down with, and I'm going to give it to my esteemed panel here. If I see one more of y'all niggas blame the defense, I'm going to lose it. They can't be perfect. They held a great team in the Houston Texans to 1 touchdown last week. You know what I'm saying? This team only scored 21 points until you actually gave them the ball at the in the red zone, which I don't blame Caleb for. I blame Shane Waldron and Matt Ebeflus having a tight end guard an edge rusher. What are we doing? That's something that this defense can't be perfect. They're doing better than I thought in the first 3 games of this season. There's going to come a time in this season where the defense is just not going to have a good game. That's what happens. Do you think this offense is going to take them out? I don't know. And I think at this point, for me personally, I'm not going to tell nobody how to fan. For me, I'm changing my expectations a little bit until I see something improvement-wise in these next 5 games. Because these next 5 games are quote-unquote winnable games. And I say quote-unquote because all 5 of those teams are looking at the Bears as a winnable game. You got the Rams at the crib this week. You got the Panthers next week at the crib. Then you go to London to play Trick-Off Trev and the Jags. Go on the road to play the Commandos in Washington. And then you go to Arizona to play man-man and them niggas over there in the Cardinals. Then the schedule gets hard. Then you got your division twice. And it looks like the Vikings are actually good, which we'll talk about in the second now. You got to deal with them. Then you got to deal with San Francisco. Then you got to deal with Seattle. You're going to get your head cracked if this offense isn't at least respectable by then. And the problem here, Ryan Poles, love what you've done, but this type of stuff right now, we're going to have to start looking at you and taking you accountable because the way you built the team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got for this particular thing. I'm going to go to Mike.
Can I go? I want to go first because I'm the one that was delusional on the panel and picked the Bears to do great things here. And I'm gonna tone down my delusion here because I'm still a bit delusional, and I still believe that the team is gonna be okay. Why? Because as I've said these last couple of shows, it takes longer for the offense to get in rhythm than it does the defense. If you're not looking at this glass half full, I think you're doing this a disservice. He's still a rookie, ladies and gentlemen. And if normally, and you can look at quarterback play all across the NFL. Don't just look at the Bears. Go look at quarterback play all across the NFL right now. The quarterback play in the NFL is so bad right now, people are loving running backs again. And for the last 5 years, the value of the running back has went down because of the quarterback to the point where people are looking at the running back position and saying, hey, we miss y'all a little bit. If we're doing this, if we're having this conversation week 4, week 5, then I'll jump in and be like, all right, we seriously in trouble. But the fact that our quarterback threw 52 times and we were still in this game. The passes, some of the passes that he threw, yeah, they was off and everything. But again, he's a rookie. He's doing this now, which makes him more prepared when late in the season happens. So that's point number one. And Shane O'Mac, great point. Pat Mahomes said last night the offense hasn't been good in all 3 games. That's in Kansas City. So that's a great point right there. Number 2, and this is it right here. Justin Fields is no longer with the Bears. Get the fuck over it. He's not there. But if we want to bring up Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, I'll just end it with this. Justin Fields is doing this, and he's in a contract year. Caleb is not. And if you look at them, ain't much a difference. That ends that right there. Y'all really wanted to go through this with a quarterback that's going into his 4th, 5th year? And a quarterback who actually is growing and don't
Caleb has 130 more yards passing.
That's right. So chill out. All I'm saying is chill out. If we want to be frustrated because we expected the team to be better than that, better than what we're seeing right now, I'm cool with that. But at the end of the day, when y'all do this shit, ain't nobody saying that this man ain't got it. Ain't nobody saying that this man is a bust. Ain't nobody saying that this man is terrible. Everybody is saying they see the signs. It's coming. You got it. Now, if you want to question Waldron, which is going to be a whole nother topic later in the show, that's cool. But slow your roll. It is just week 3. I'm not going to give you the Aaron Rodgers relax joint. I'm just going to tell you, slow your roll. A rookie in week 3, what do you expect? What do you expect?
Go ahead, Mikey.
Shit, I mean, I'm not going to temper my expectations because this is what I'm going to stay true to what I've been saying. As long as the Bears and Caleb Williams and the offense looks different come that first week in November versus the Cardinals, and as we get into division play than what it is now, then I'm not tripping. There are going to be growing pains. Scott, to your point about like there being a lot of dumb Bears fans, like yesterday where I was watching the game at, my boy had a couple of family friends or cousins come by, and they were saying some of the most stupidest shit. And then it just got me thinking, like, us 4 and the people that tune in every week and the people that we really interact with on Twitter, they know sports, they watch sports. We're
the minority.
We're more invested into it than the majority of the people. Like we know who's active, we know inactives. I can see a player and I can tell you what school he went to. We know about what we're tuning into the press conferences. You're there covering it. I'm at work listening to it, or I'm at the gym, catching up on pods. Like certain people can only just see the very basic of stuff. For example, the Justin Fields is 3-0, the Chicago Bears are 1-2. That is not how this works. But the way sports media is consumed, the way it's presented now, that's how it's gonna be. And I'm done talking about Justin Fields. I love the kid. I hope he balls out. Y'all know how I felt about him. But I'm a Bears fan. I want the Bears to be good. And I'm just gonna bring it back to what I told you on Friday, Scott. You gotta dead it yourself. Kind of how Bang says, like with the arguing with the people with less than 300 followers and all that. You got to dead the Justin Fields Caleb shit because like I said last week, people just don't like this kid. They just don't like him for whatever reason. They're not going to like him. He threw for 364 yards last night, and you see the goalpost shift. He made some throws. He made some plays that Justin hasn't made in 4 seasons on the field, but they'll find some way to switch it. It's like we're not going to get any benefit out of getting into that conversation. As far as where I stand with the team, this offense is averaging 12.7 points per game. The offense. The team is at 17 points a game just because we had the pick 6, week 1, because of what Will Levis gave us. This is bad. This starts at the top. Operationally, this is bad. It starts with the offensive line construction, and it goes down to Waldron, and then it circles back to Matt Ebeflus. So I think we need to hope for, when Justin was here, and like I said last week, when, Luke Getsy, they would say, all right, we got to figure out a way, cut the field in half and figure out what works to Justin's strength. They need to figure out a way to keep Caleb Williams upright and keep his right arm attached to him come week 7. Because 40-something attempts last week, 52 this week, he's not going to last. They have to make adjustments. I don't know how they make adjustments. I mean, we seen the very first adjustment to the O-line last week. Nate Davis was benched. This is not an injury. Nate Davis was benched because if he was injured, he wasn't coming in to fill in when Braxton Jones got hurt. He was benched. So now we need to kind of, see what is next. There's a lot of people piling on DeAndre Swift, and we're going to get into that. This all falls down at the feet of Ryan Post for his construction of the offensive line, Matt Eberflus for his selection of OC, and then Shane Waldron for how he is going about this game plan. So for me, I'm not going to adjust my expectations. I think this is what happens when people start schedule watching and saying, oh, that should be a W, that should be a W, that's an L back in May. It doesn't happen like that. The Bears are going to lose games they have no business losing, and they're probably going to win some games that they have no business winning just because that's how the NFL works. So I'm sticking with my 10-win prediction, but there does need to be some reevaluation and reorganizing of the offensive structure going forward, because the same way you said, Scott, that, the defense has been hooping. I did feel like the defense kind of let me down a little bit yesterday. I don't care if they've been carrying their weight the entire season. That doesn't mean you get a pass for fucking up at one point.
What part of the game did you thought they fucked up?
I don't believe that they did really well when it came to sudden change moments. For example, they got the stop they needed. They forced the Colts into a punt. Daniel Hardy, for some fucking reason, got overzealous and felt he was going to make a play. I don't know what play he thought he was going to make, but he jumped off sides, neutral zone infraction. Defense had to get back on the field. We were no longer getting the ball on offense, and they had to go back out there. You can tell that they were demoralized. Heads were hanging, lazy. That's when they went and they took off for an 80-yard touchdown drive on basically all on Jonathan Taylor. That is shit that you have to prepare for. It can't be, oh, well, we did the job. And it's still, at the end of the day, you get paid. You have to make a stand. TJ Edwards was constantly being shoved into the fucking sidelines. He was, if you look at it, he was out of the three, Kyler Gordon was the worst graded defensive player on the field yesterday. TJ Edwards was first at like a 40-something. He was constantly on his ass. DeMarcus Walker, constantly on his ass. So I feel like there were still plays to be made, and not to sound meatheadish, but the really, really, really good defenses, the Legion of Booms, the Bears defense that we were used to when they went to the Super Bowl with Urlacher and all them, they said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And it's kind of where we are right now because, like I said, this offense is averaging 12.7 points per game. That's 4 field goals, like they almost have to do everything just to keep us in the game right now, So nobody is devoid of criticism. The defense has been the best unit through 3 weeks, but they still have some gaps that they need to clear up. But everything points back to the offense. And, Caleb Williams right now is responsible for 89.7% of the offensive yardage.
That's insane.
Bears. He's a fucking rookie.
Yeah.
It's week 3. And, there are fans that are clamoring for, we need to run the ball. This team is not built to run the fucking ball.
Yeah.
See what they did. Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett. You get a pass catching tight end, Gerald Everett. You trade a pick for Keenan Allen. You sign DeAndre Swift. You take a quarterback number 1. You don't take an offensive lineman at 9. You take Rome. I'm fine with that. I never wanted anybody else but Rome or Neighbors at 9. So I'm on record with that. But look at how the team is constructed. This is not the power running game, offense that and Shane Waldron doesn't really like to run the ball. So there needs to be an adjustment for the sake of protecting number 18, because I left yesterday completely convinced and more sold on him more than ever.
Yeah, me too.
What everybody sees. I also see the faults. We'll get into where I'm not happy with him, but for once, the quarterback is not the issue with the Chicago Bears, and I'm cool with that.
I'm just gonna answer this one comment, and I'm gonna get off the Justin Fields shit, like you and Bang said. But shout out to Damien. We appreciate you watching. He said, I find it funny how Justin Fields get all the blame for the mistakes he makes and for him criticizing the OL on the coaching when Caleb's struggling, so on the OL on the coach. Okay, a couple things with that. Now, we all interact with different Bears fans, so I'm not saying there wasn't Bears fans out there who were saying what you were saying. But what I know is a lot of Bears fans, us included, were giving Justin the benefit out. Sometimes a little bit too much. I also was at the stadium for Justin's last Bears game, where I heard almost 30,000 people chanting, "We want Justin." So I think that's kind of an unfair take, but at the same time, not mad at you, because there's so many different sides of Bears Twitter. So maybe the side that you saw the most were the people who were doing that. My thing is, we just can't. We got to figure out which way it's going to be. Last year, it was wins on the QB stat. Now it is. That's the only issue I had. That
I'm not doing that. Boricua ball. I'm not doing that shit that Damien said. That shit that Damien Hernandez says. I'm not doing that. Okay. If you've been tapped in with us, then you will know there's fault everywhere. Nobody in this show 100% blame Justin Fields for anything. If you have been paying attention to the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poe's tenure here, he did not want Justin. It was what it was. He did not want him. That was not his guy. It was a complete teardown in year one, where they ate $96 million in dead cap money, getting rid of all the vets. Year two was a rebuilding year. It was what it was. Yes, we all had high hopes for Justin Fields, but that's not who they wanted. And it wasn't Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams when it came to this decision this winter. It was Justin Fields, the fifth-year option and $30-something million, the potential of signing him to a contract after that, versus, holy shit, we just got lucky with the number one pick via the Panthers. A generational talent type quarterback is there. We get to reset that market. We get our own crack at our own guy. And we also get to buy ourselves another 5 fucking years with this rookie quarterback. So I don't want to hear that. It's not just as simple as Justin Fields, Caleb Williams. There's a lot of factors at play.
But
go ahead, Dante.
The key here, and this is actually, it's kind of ironic. Let me say this. I think, like you said, we've all been objective about Justin, but I think as far as just being a Justin Fields fan, I've been the biggest Justin Fields fan here out of the four of us. And I can honestly say this Sunday was the first time I actually said, oh shit, he's figuring it out. The other two games, he was just handing the ball off and he didn't turn the ball over. This was the game where he was making tight window throws over the middle of the field. This was the game where he was, actually showing command of the offense, the shit that people are talking about. So with that, I think it's foolish to really sit here and, do Caleb the disservice of comparing him to Justin. Justin's been here 4 years. He should be turning the corner. This is something he should be doing. And, he has the benefit of Mike Tomlin and a coach that's, pouring into him and believes in him. I don't know what Russell's doing, but at the same time, having Russell Wilson there.
Russell is fucking Sierra. He's trying to have another pick.
Yeah, but, that helps. But I don't think it's fair it's a disservice to Caleb to sit here and compare him to Justin. In terms of everything I've seen with Caleb, I agree. I think it's one of those things where, yes, he's made some mistakes. I think my biggest issue has been the inaccuracy downfield. Like, I think guys have had their man beat by 1 or 2 steps, and Caleb has missed like 3 or 4 deep balls. But other than that, I've seen a lot that, there's a lot of promise. Like I said, we're sitting here pissed off, and he threw for damn near 400 yards. And how many times have we seen that as Bear fans? So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not adjusting my expectations because I still think Caleb has every bit of the talent that they said he had. What I am adjusting is the fact that, once again, and I think I've done this, me personally, with like a couple Bears general managers, is that where I crowned him too soon. Like, all of the praise for Ryan Poles one of the things, and this is why I say it's ironic, one of the reasons Justin is successful, I don't know if you peeped it, and I know we criticize PFF, but like the Steelers rookie center has the highest PFF grade of any center in the league. Like their offensive line is really good. So like he's been protected. He's not been on his ass like Caleb has been for the first 3 games. So it's one of those things where it's like we are still at a point where it's, you know, we hate to say it, but it feels like the same old Bears because we see a defense that's dominant, but then that defense that's dominant is on the field too long, and eventually that bend don't break turns into them breaking. Like, you know, it's not fair to really, you know, just like it's not fair with the Caleb shit, it's not fair to put this much pressure on our defense. They put up a stat over the past, I want to say, decade in the NFL. It might have been longer than that, but they said, you know, the average defense scores 9.1% of a team's points. The Chicago Bears defense has scored 20% of our points over the last decade.
Over the last decade? Wow.
That is a problem, my nigga. Like, that is a problem that you can't put the ball in the end zone as an offense in a modern NFL. Like, that shit is an issue. And so it's one of those things where I'm not adjusting my expectations. I still think 12 wins is attainable. But with the offensive line, with Ebeflus, it's a lot of the same old Bears. And that's what scares me.
I think what scares me, and the reason why I kind of changed mine a little bit, because the offense isn't changing. And it's like, for me, like you said, Baines, there was a lot of football left. Even if we were sitting here on opposite 2-1, we'd be all hyped. But even then, you gotta relax a little bit. I feel like it's kind of like when September hits in baseball. That's when the real teams show up. Like, once you get to November, December, that's when we see the difference between the contenders, and the pretenders. But I have to see this offense even get to respectable before I can think that 10 wins is a possibility for me to see that. And that's just, I haven't seen it yet. It's worse than I ever imagined it would be. It looks worse than Luke Getsy's did last year. That's what I really want to see as well. But let's move on to our next topic. So DJ has been frustrated with it and says, yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. I got a little problem with what DJ has been doing. But I want to talk about on the positive side, and we can bring up the negatives as well about Caleb and Rome's progression. Like you said, stats are stats. We don't want to be stat hawks, but here are the stats for both of them. Yesterday, Caleb was 33 of 52, 363 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He got sacked 4 times, and I really think 3 out of those 4 was on him. And then Rome Odunze had 6 receptions, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. His longest was for 47 yards. I think all of us have echoed this. This is the first time in my life as a Bears fan, especially with this how bad as the offenses look, that I'm not concerned about the quarterback. I think he's making small strides each week. I think he's getting more comfortable with the playbook. I think he knows the playbook, period. Just look how many audibles he's doing at the line and how the communication has been getting progressively better. And this is something that we saw in training camp, something I saw really from the beginning of OTAs, where he started rough in OTAs. He started rough in rookie minicamp, started rough in mandatory camp, started rough in training camp, but it incrementally got better. And I think that's what you have seen and what you're going to continue to see. Couple things. One thing I'm worried about, obviously, is the accuracy on his deep ball. I think that's going to come with time. I'm not too worried about that, like it's going to be a major problem. I think once he starts hitting these home run plays or these wild type plays, then we really going to see more and more. But my concern is not Caleb. My concern is the people who are here to coach Caleb. We're going to get to coaching in just a minute. As far as Rome, I love what I see from Rome. You know, Rome, there's too many people I saw last week who are having fake buyer's remorse for Rome Odunze. When all of us sat up here on draft night and was saying, oh, we hope the Bears go offense for a change. Typical Bears will have them going defense or some other position. Am I saying that they shouldn't have drafted offensive linemen? I mean, that'd have been cool too, but the guys you really wanted offensive line were gone already. Rome Odunze, it was a great pick, and I think he's going to be a great player. You know what I'm saying? And that's something where I feel like we're seeing incrementally that's getting better as well. But for me, my concerns is he got to get better on the route running. These are all very small, minor rookie problems. Bang, what do you think about the progression that you've seen for these two, and what things kind of worry you a little bit?
I love the progression that I've seen from these two for this reason alone. I think, and we'll get into Waldron in a second, but I think they've been hampered by a lot of that. And I've been seeing progression from both of them. I see Caleb at the line with the audibles. I see him. What I think I see more of Caleb, which I'm actually happy that this is happening now, is him realizing what he can't do in college, what he can't do that he did in college. That's the best way of saying it. I can't do these things. I'll try it out. I'll see if it works, but I can't do it. He's starting to figure that out. Once he figures out I can't do the things that I did at Oklahoma and USC, but I'm still able to do this and that, and I'm still who people say I am. Excuse me, stars the Sprite. I think that that's going to be even more helpful. Now, with Rome, it was still a couple of instances where it was this one pass play. I think it was in the third quarter where he slowed up on his route. It was a slant. He slowed up on his route, and it was almost an interception. And even though that pass that he threw to Rome should not have been thrown, you get your hands on the ball, you come down with it. One of the things that I want to see Rome and every wide receiver do is attack the ball. Don't let the ball come to you. You go attack the ball. I think if Rome attacks the ball, if he goes after the ball, that's not an interception, and that's a spectacular play, or he gets pushed out of bounds. But that's not an interception. So I want to see Rome attack the ball. But Caleb has to understand that in the NFL, you get your wide receivers open. It's very rarely that you're just going to find a wide receiver open. And if you do find them, you have to hit on them. Because there was two instances right off the bat that I can remember. I think it was the first quarter and the fourth quarter where I think it was Rome got off open and he just didn't hit him. That deep ball, he's still figuring it out. But slowly but surely, it is happening. I do like what I see from them two. I love seeing Cole Kmet get heavily involved. So I see where things are going. I see what they're trying to do. But both Caleb and DJ said one thing that's in common that I think that is glaring to me is finding an identity. I listened to you, and I also listened to Herb, shouts out to the Bigs, and talked about the press conference and how it seems like that part of the identity is Caleb just throwing it all over the place. As a rookie, that can't happen. You have to get the running game involved. I'm not too much blaming it on Swift yet because the offensive line has not been getting a lot of push, especially that interior. We saw a lot of that yesterday. But we did see Roshan, who is a bruiser of a back, have some success in the beginning of the game. They have to ride that. They can't just go away from it and just say, Caleb, win it for us. He's not there yet. So see some glimpses, and I'm happy with the progression, but it's still a ways to go. But I think it's being hampered by not really truly having an identity.
Dante, man, well, give me some of your positives and your negatives from what you're seeing in Rome and Caleb these first 3 weeks.
The positives I've seen with Caleb is the arm is there. He can make any throw. Even though we lost the game on Sunday, some of the throws he made, I was like, oh shit. Like it were a few throws where he was going to his left and broke down sidearm and threw it through, to his right, like a shortstop, and that shit was on the money. And so like it's certain throws he makes where it's like, okay, I see what you're talking about, like Mikey said earlier. So that's been a positive. The negative, retire that fucking spin move, dog. Like he loved doing that spin, and like it works sometimes. But more often than not, we've seen him spin directly into another nigga, and like he just gets sacked. So like that shit, let that go. But I think like we said, like I forgot who said it, but somebody said it. He's starting to figure out the shit from college that he can do and what he can't do. Like certain things just aren't gonna work when everybody on the field is fast as fuck. Everybody on the field can, run a 4.4. So it's one of those things where it's like, nah, fam, you can't do that. So the spin move, I want to see that go. But like the throws he's made. The inaccuracy on the deep ball has, I don't want to say concern me, but I think he hasn't really found his timing with that yet, because there's been a few passes where, like I said earlier, his receiver has just been beat by at least a step, and Caleb just missed a nigga. Like, so I think that's something that, like Mikey said, if we get to November and he's improved on that, we're not gonna care. but that's something I've seen so far that I don't like. As far as Rome, I think JSN's words are really coming back. Or that silent pause where it's like he really didn't know how to say, well, this dude was kind of his ass, but I think he's been hampered by the fact that you can tell the pecking order in the receiving, and I say this because this nigga, what's number 11? DeAndre Carter, right?
DeAndre Carter, yeah.
He's clearly running the Keenan Allen routes. And I say that because Caleb keeps looking for this nigga, even though he is not the best receiver on the field.
Right.
And it's like, how many times are we going to try to force the ball to 11 because that's what you're comfortable with in the progressions, as opposed to going to the better receivers on the field? Like that's been an issue for me because, like I said, I just like I'm watching the game and I'm like, oh yeah, no, he missed Keenan, because even in the games with Keenan, with the game that Keenan played, you could see there was a rapport there where he was going to Keenan for those quick outs. He was throwing a slant to Keenan. We haven't thrown that many slants lately, which I don't fucking like, and I think we're the only offense in America that doesn't fucking do that. But you haven't seen that, so I think that comfort level isn't there with everybody for right now. But that's been, like I said, it's been a mixed bag, but I still think overall I'm extremely positive about Caleb. Rome is hampered by this garbage ass offensive coordinator, and we're gonna get into that. But the more we watch them play, the more I think Shane Waldron is fucking terrible. That's just me though.
Go ahead, Mikey. Take us home on this topic.
Yeah, what I saw yesterday out of Rome is basically what we've all seen from him in college and what got him drafted in the top 10. He can use his size and speed to, burn somebody deep over the top. We saw with the 47-yard reception. He's a safety blanket in the middle of the field. We saw that in the fourth quarter when Caleb was kind of throwing some darts his way. I think he's benefiting off of the fact I think he benefited yesterday off of the fact that Keenan Allen isn't there. And we'll see if Keenan doesn't play this week. I don't know if he will. If he can continue to build off that, because he is going to be the wide receiver 2, next year once Keenan is gone, with DJ Moore. I think the person that's lacking in the offensive game is DJ Moore. I think he's the one that is noticing that Waldron might be ass. And we'll get into that a little later. But for me, Caleb, number one thing with him is just his accuracy. I feel also at times that he's kind of he's put a little bit more zip on balls than he needs to. I don't know if that's a timing thing in his head and he feels like somebody's coming, he's got to get it there. But there have been a lot of passes from him that are fucking rockets that bounce off somebody's chest and bounce up high, or he dirts them. So the accuracy is something that I'm really, I was not expecting. I figured at the very least, while he might not be throwing deep, my perception and my thoughts of going into the first month of the season was we were going to see a lot of short intermediate routes from him, and we were going to see a high completion percentage. And later on through the season, they would allow him, to throw it out deep and see what he could do there. And I feel like just based off of the lack of a run game and us playing from behind, it's forced him to kind of play the other way around. That accuracy is taking a hit. I think he's 26 right now. Out of all starting quarterbacks, I think he's at like 59.6% completion percentage. So that's definitely needs to get up, for a number one pick. And then obviously just, the accuracy deep. The one where he rolled to his left and kind of threw off his back shoulder or throw off his back leg to Rome in the end zone. I think that was an extremely, extremely tough fucking throw with a defender. Defender's coming right here, your arm's right here. He still was able to get it off. I just think he had a little too much on it. I think he's still trying to get in sync with his wide receivers and the routes they're running and the speed that they run it at and, where they're going to be. I think that he'll catch that. What we can't have is the misses. Like we had to miss the DJ Moore in the Texans game that was severely underthrown. Or then he had the one yesterday to Rome where it looked like he threw it fucking 20 yards, past him. That's 7 right there. You got to hit. So the accuracy with me, but they're growing. They're getting better. This is the nucleus of the team. And this is just kind of what you have to deal with rookie growing pains. And it sucks as fans because fans just think of wins and losses, and Ryan Poles is thinking year 2, year 3, year 4, incremental growth. So right now we're in a tough situation where we want them to win every game, and we want Caleb and Rome to put up 300 yards and 100 receiving and 2 TDs, and you're just not going to get that. It's just not there right now.
In the words of Marlo Stanfield, you want it one way, but it's the other way. That's exactly what it comes to building a rookie quarterback, man. But let's go to, I feel like, the main topic of today, and just Bears fans, Bears fandom, and the media, is the coach. Matt Ebeflus, 11-26 in his 37 games as head coach of the Chicago Bears, starting 1-2. This nigga, outside of being one, and he's never been 2 games over 500 in his time as Chicago Bears coach. Shane Waldron, brought over here from Seattle. Man, look, this is, to me, there was 3 things that I saw last night, not just last night, but these first 3 weeks of the season, that if you need any more proof that coaching matters, you don't have to look that far. Look in your own division. Look at what Matt LaFleur has done, not only for Jordan Love, but for Malik Willis. Malik Willis was not in the Packers building this time a month ago. He's 2-0 in the time he played, and he's been playing well. He played really, really well against his former team. This is all coaching. Look how the wide receivers get open. Coaching. Look at the offensive strategy and game plan that goes into each week. And he's putting on this young quarterback and these young wide receiving core without his franchise guy out there. Coaching. The Vikings are 3-0, people. Sam Darnold is looking like most improved player of the year. Why? Coaching. Kevin O'Connell came from the Sean McVay tree, was offensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Coaching is important. The Rams won that game last night at SoFi Stadium against the Niners, which was basically a home game for the Niners, with half their team on IR because of coaching. It shows you that much. And that's what's discouraging for me when we look at all the incremental success that Caleb and that Rome is having. My issue is I just want them to get out of this season without being too damaged. Because I mean, look, it could happen. Matt Ebeflus could turn this thing around. It's 14 more games left. Am I betting on it? Absolutely not. I think when, somebody shows you who they are, that's who they are. I have more confidence in Waldron turning around than Flus, and I don't really have confidence in that either. I think this is why it's a missed opportunity, because now they get fired. And Caleb and Rome got to learn a whole new system last year. And now we starting over from scratch. And that's the problem. I don't understand. I need the bubble screen outlawed in just the NFL. Not just Bears games, but the NFL. I need the bubble screen outlawed. I'm so tired of all these offensive coordinators are overthinking. Even look at that Atlanta Chiefs game last night, the 4th and inches call. What in the world what they call it? Like, I just don't get it. DJ Moore. And this is I'm going to kind of bring this up in here too, the Keenan and DJ Moore thing, instead of having it be individual topics. Look, DJ Moore, if you look on paper, and this is the funny thing about last night, I didn't know that he had this many yards. I didn't know that Cole Kmet had this many yards. So I actually looked at the stat sheet. Cole Kmet had 10 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. DJ Moore had 8 receptions, 78 yards on 10 targets. Look, man, the problem is the way they're using DJ. Why is they not treating DJ like he's the number 1 receiver? Take more shots downfield. Why is he always getting the ball at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage? That's a problem. And as frustrated as I am, I know DJ is frustrated with that as well. But at the same time, you're a leader on this team. You have the captaincy. And you just said last week that, I was tripping. We don't need to see you pouting every week, dog. I need him to get that in check ASAP. And I'm not usually somebody who really cares about body language, but it's 2 weeks in a row. Fix that, bro. I can see if you weren't getting the ball. The game plan needs to be different for sure. I think they're using him the wrong way, but I need him to be more mature when it comes to this. With the Keenan Allen thing, I think Dante hit the nail on the head that DeAndre Carter is running the routes that Keenan Allen usually will be running. That's insanity that you're giving DeAndre Carter those routes to begin with. And I don't think he's been bad. I think he's actually been pretty solid for the position they put him in. But I want to see Tyler Scott over there. Tyler Scott had a really good camp. Maybe he's huffing it out in practice. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I think Shane Waldron has his guys. And he likes sticking his guys. We talk about how Roshan Johnson was breaking some runs yesterday, and he finally played. It shouldn't take somebody like Travis Homer going on IR for you to realize, we got a bruise in the backfield. Let's use him. And that's stuff that comes with coaching. That 4th and inches play before the end of the first half was obviously the worst play I've seen at least in my 4 years covering this team. It's brain dead. If they score a touchdown, the Bears win. And you don't want your rookie quarterback, your rookie wide receiver to have to do more to overcome the coaching. They might be talented enough to do so, but they shouldn't be. And if you're Ryan Poles, like I said, I'm taking all these topics we got and I'm kind of lumping them. We're on a time crunch. With Ryan Poles, when do we start to shift blame to him? And you said the same thing, Dante, about not crowning general managers too early. I didn't crown him. I said when the nigga got hired, I'm not doing the thing we did with Ryan Pace and the nigga before him. Well, Phil Henry, I guess it was. I think that this man has done a lot well on this team. And you have misses. No GM's going to be perfect. But what is he going to do to correct that? And the messed up part for me, and then I'll close this up and I'll go on, is let's just say that Waldron and Flus keep huffing it up. And I hope not. Hope they turn the corner for my sanity. You can't fire him midseason. Who are you bringing in? Who are you? This is something that they're going to have to go through the entire season. We're going to have to go through another whole hiring process. Then you hope that he hires the same person. And to me, it's just the same thing repeating itself. And that's the most frustrating thing for me. Bang, let's talk about the coaching and really just these topics that we got, with the way they're using DJ, Keenan, and as far as Poles.
Well, look, the wide receiver and the quarterback have both talked about finding an identity. And we're 3 games in. That says enough to me. There's no true identity for this team. Right now, the identity looks like let Caleb do everything. Let him throw the ball, do all that stuff. They can't do that. You can't live with that. That can't be it right now as a rookie. Now, it might make him develop faster, but it might beat him up faster too. But when it comes to this, and I said this last week too, when it was asked about what the percentage of the blame is, and I said I always put it on the coach. So I'm looking at Shane Waldron, I'm looking at Chris Morgan. I'm looking at Shane from an overall perspective and Chris Morgan about this offensive line. And then I'm looking at Matt Ebeflus and saying, hey, I know you're doing what you're doing with the defense, and this defense is probably not what it is without you being there because you are defensive-minded head coach. But if you trust Eric Washington to do the job that you feel that he can do, then you need to spend a little bit more time in making sure that Shane Waldron is doing what he needs to do. And granted, I ain't there. I ain't in them rooms. That might be going on right now. That might have been going on right now. But it just don't look like it when you get on the field and when you're 3 games in and you're talking about identity. It's not getting on the same page. We're getting to it. We're almost there. It's identity. I don't feel like in the first 3 games you should be finding an identity. You should be working on whatever that identity is and seeing the fruits of your labor grow. But they're saying we're looking to find an identity. And that's what scares me about all of this, is that we're 3 games in and we're still trying to figure out what this offense is supposed to be with all of these weapons. And for Poles, I wanna dissect. Good job.
That's a fine.
Oh shit! I thought I was
fine. Hey, so with Poles, here's the thing that I want to dissect from him real quick. Poles said this is the most depth that they had since he's been with the organization, right? The offensive line. There's depth, and there's a lot of people. I don't see depth. I see a lot of niggas that play offensive line. That's what I see. Just because you got a whole bunch of niggas back there with numbers between 60 and 79, that don't mean it's depth. And that's what scares me, that they just got a whole bunch of people. It's like, all right, well, this nigga ain't working. Let me slide him up in there, because I ain't the only one that saw Braxton Jones went down and was like, holy shit. Now we got to bring back in Nate Davis. Because Matt Pryor got to go over there. Now, we have my man Hinsdale folks that was over there activated and stuff, so we'll see what's going to go happen with that. But just because you got a lot of people on the offensive line, that don't mean you got quality depth. You just got a whole bunch of niggas. So, Ryan Pace, Let's make it quality depth and not a whole bunch of folks back there.
Mikey had to go. He would join us again on Friday. Dante, man, tell us what you think about the coaching.
Ebeflus, man, these are the concerns we had, and it's turning out to be, very, very, very valid concerns. When you get to the end of the game and you got one coach throwing up 2 and one coach throwing up 1, we are not on the same page here. That's clearly
real quick. Just because you just said that, Scott, I want to ask you a question because I don't know if Nick Wright was right or what. But he said on the show that the reason why that timeout was called was because of the celebration, and that's what made it run to, like, I guess that whole.
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, I want to ask.
That's not true at all.
Wait a minute, what the fuck? All right, back to you, Dante, because I heard that and I was like, wait a minute, I was gonna ask that on the show today.
Yeah, so I mean, the coaching is an extreme concern. It is very, for as cool as he looks, and I thought that was corny and that people was all just buying into that. The man looks like he just wants to be a defensive coordinator. I've said it once, I've said it several times. I'm gonna keep saying it. It's no fucking way that this defense can make so many adjustments and actually get it and be correct, and then your offense don't adjust to shit. Like, your offense does the same bullshit for 4 quarters. And you go in there at halftime after them first 2 quarters of the bullshit, and you say, yeah, let's keep doing the exact same thing. That's going to work. It's insane. Like, the coaching is horrible. The O-line coach is Flus's buddy. Get him the fuck up out of there. I think he's a passing game coordinator now. His name escapes me from right now.
He's the run game coordinator.
Yeah, but that's Flus homie. Get him the fuck out of there. He's terrible. Like, and as far as going back to Ryan Poles, like I said, bruh, it's amazing how you can watch Peyton Manning talk about the game, Tom Brady talk about the game, these guys who are known for throwing the football, 2 of the greatest to ever do it, and they talk about the trenches. They talk about establishing the run. They talk about that this is critical and this is vital to having a solid offense. And then you have a Bears franchise that is known for running backs. Suddenly, you motherfuckers want to throw the ball 56 times a game. Like, I agree with that 100%. Swift, that has been fool's gold so far. Like, that nigga, hopefully he pick it up. But I see why Poles wanted Saquon, because that nigga's huff. Like, he is tough.
There's a thing, too. Like, this is the thing. I'm not going to have buyer's remorse about DeAndre Swift. I think is a lot of things to factor in that, but also you got to look at his year last year too. Somebody pointed a stat out: the majority of his yards, 30%, not the majority, but 30% of his yards came in 2 games. And I feel like it's offensive line problems, but also I feel like the nigga runs right into the tackles. Like, it makes no sense to me that in the carries that Khalil Herbert get or the Roshan Johnson get, they know to follow it, but DeAndre Swift doesn't. And I feel like that's a conversation Waldron's got to have as well. Maybe just use him as a a ball catching running back. Like, he shouldn't be going up the gut. Like, that's not the type of running back that he is. And that's why I kind of wish they would have spent a little more to get Saquon. That's somebody all of us wanted when we had our preseason shows. Go out there and get Saquon. And that kind of is what it is. The vision that he has is crazy. It's like it takes him a long time to even get his footwork moving. And that's an issue that I think is going to be a problem long term, man. One last topic, then we're going to bring in Courtney in for the second hour. Looking ahead to this Rams game. Now, we're not going to give predictions, picks, none of that. We say that for Friday as well. But if you look at Vegas right now, Vegas has the Bears as a 2.5 point favorite heading into the game on Sunday, which to me is asinine. I don't understand what you
against the Rams.
Against the Rams, they are 2.5.
Yeah, that should
hell
be.
No.
They at
Hell
home.
no.
The Bears are at
I
home.
don't give a fuck.
I don't care what they are. They could be on
Have
Mars.
you ever watched
nigga.
Matt Stafford play football? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I feel you, but the Bears are at home, and LA is coming to Chicago. at a 12 o'clock game. They don't necessarily play well on early games. And that I see that. I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm just saying I understand it because that's an LA team that's playing a 12 o'clock game in the Midwest. They don't normally do well at that. And still half of the team is still hurt.
I mean,
great game against the 49ers though.
Look, man, at this point with the Bears, man, like it could be the entire team hurt. Like it's about what the Bears do and not what the Rams do. I think the Bears defense can slow down that offense, but they like Mikey said, averaging 12.3 points per game. That's 4 field goals, bro. Like that. That's why I don't agree with the line. But for me, what I want to hear this week at Hallis, which I don't think we're gonna hear, I think we've officially reached coach speak, like we reached in Nagy's last year with the Bears, which I don't think we get anything of note on Wednesday and Thursday. Is I want to have a dedicated. I want, like you just said, Dante. Where are the adjustments? Like you're officially on a hot seat. Both of these guys are on a hot seat. If Flus likes that little house he got over there, and what's that lake that he over by? Yeah, that ain't Lake Forest. It's some other lake that he by. If you like the house, then you better get it together, or you're gonna be a defensive coordinator somewhere else. Like you just said, Don, doesn't make sense that this defense can make adjustments, but they can't. I want to know what the offensive game plan is going to be this week that's going to make any different, because Sunday marks the first quarter of the season, and that's what I personally want to see going into this week. Let's quickly wrap this up, Bang. What do you want to see or hear about game plan wise this week, and then Dante, you wrap it up.
I want to hear what the identity is. Simple as that. Y'all keep saying, we trying to find an identity. Well, let's find it. Like, the whole thing about the line aside, you have another winnable game and it's at home. So if you don't get it together now, nobody's going to care about the Panthers game. Nobody's going to care about that Jaguars game. So you got to get it together. So identity needs to be seen and not heard that we're trying to find it.
Man, I think you know what your identity is. You just don't want to embrace it. Like, because it's the Bears, because of the fact that our legacy has been defense and running the football, you don't want to accept the fact that you just, loaded up on offense and drafted this quarterback because you want to throw the ball 50 fucking times a game. That is what you want to do. Like, that is what Shane Waldron does. You hire a nigga who don't run the ball. So lean into it. If this is who we are, let's be the best version of who we are trying to be. Like, this is who we are. You got Keenan Allen, who his old ass, I told y'all, 15 games. Like, I expect him to come back after this and be Keenan Allen. But you drafted Rome. You extended DJ. You brought in Garrett. Like, if you're going to throw the ball, bro, you got to just have some better passing concepts. You can't have, because we've talked about Caleb improving every week, you can't have Caleb getting to the top of his drop and he's looking downfield and everybody's fucking back is turned to him because they still running these fucking 20-yard routes that you just sent 4 niggas on at the same time. Yeah. Like, it's idiotic. So at some point, it's like, and like Mikey said before he got off, like, we are watching these games 2-3 times. We're not casual with this shit. So it's like when you see these things, and it was the same thing with Justin, where it's like, I see the talent this kid has, but I see the way he's being hampered by bad coaching. Like, it's that fucking simple. It's bad coaching. Don't mess it up. I saw Ryan Poles walking past him for lunch yesterday. I wanted to smack the plate out of his head. Nigga, wake up. Like, it's that simple. You have a talented fucking quarterback on your hands, something we've never had. Like, and you're fucking it up. Like, I know it's only 3 games, but you're blowing it, bro, with this bullshit that you're doing. So, I mean, as far as the game plan with the Rams, you got to keep Matt Stafford off the field. Yeah, man. Throwing the ball 52 times ain't gonna do that. So, I mean, you do with that what you will, but like, they have to figure something out with their offensive line, bro. I think the picture that really, just gave you a brief summary of the game in a nutshell. When they ran that dumbass option, and 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen were on their ass, G. Literally on their ass, on the floor. One of the motherfuckers was in the air like this, just hands in the air, cooked. I'm
Bro,
like,
they made
no.
you never want
These
to make
niggas stink.
You never want to make the NFL memes Instagram page, and they made the NFL memes Instagram page. Man, I will say this, and we're gonna go to the second hour. One, Matthew Stafford gonna throw us 1 or 2. That just happens when he comes to social field. I know we got new and improved Matt Stafford. When he steps to the social field, the nigga gonna throw you 1 or 2. Take advantage of that, man. But that was the local hour. For some reason, I forgot that was my fault. I forgot to show the artworart at first.
It's the local hour.
That was a local hour, man. Mike, you'll be back with us on Friday, man. But we're gonna take a quick 1 minute break, and we'll be back for hour 2. Courtney will be joining us. We're gonna do a full recap of week 3 in the NFL. We'll be right back.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for hour 2 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. And you saw in that commercial we just showed, visit the bcnetshop.com. Please get your merch. Shout out to everybody who've been getting their merch. We got a 79th and Hallis 10-year anniversary shirt and hoodie. It's gonna be dropping very, very soon. I got my hoodie on right now. I know niggas. I hate you never know when you promote stuff and the niggas like, where I get that? Like, nigga,
I done told you 40.
Have you seen anything that I've been posting on any of my socials? And honestly, that was just my boy Keith. That was Keith. Bang, that was
Sean
Keith.
Keys?
Yeah, I was like, Keith, I know you watch everything.
Statement. That's a Sean Keys statement.
That's 100%.
What's up, my boy?
Keith, if you watching, here's the link right here, my boy. bcnetshop.com. Get your merch, man. But we have got Courtney Collabro in the building. Courtney, how are you feeling?
It was an okay weekend. I had a little bit of fun. I went to the last Iron Skillet or whatever they call it, the SMU TCU game, and
the game. Okay.
I had myself a good time. The tailgating scene there. I as an Alabama girl, I was very impressed. They are doing some special things over there in Highland Park.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you went to a cook-off or some shit. I was like, I know what.
I was like, Iron Skillet.
I was
niggas went to a bake-off?
I've been to TCU games before, but I've never been to like an SMU TCU game at like I've been seeing these signs. I'm like, what the hell is an Iron Skillet? There's people walking around wearing aprons that say "Fry the Frogs." Can't make it up. The
Iron Skillet sounds like Bob Evans' competitor. That's what that shit sounds like.
I must say, I know one thing. I know 2 things about SMU: the death penalty and that their alumni are extremely rich.
Yes. And it was, listen, I saw every bit of that walking around. I saw like a chandelier at a tailgate. Someone had like a whole tailgate set up with like the dish satellite and it was wild. I mean, they're doing great things over there.
Courtney, you got like a hot pocket in the microwave?
No, that was my oven. I'm trying to stay on my healthy grind, okay? So I'm trying to make sure that the oven is warm when we're all done.
Hey, mental health matters and health is wealth.
Health is wealth. Mental matters. We're gonna get into our week 3 recap now. I'm trying a new topic. This might not live till next week. We're gonna try it out. Everybody does overreaction Monday, so I decided to give it a try. So we're gonna go around the table with our overreactions, and the rest of the crew determine if it's an overreaction or not. I'll go first.
All right.
I actually have 2. One, Travis Kelce is officially washed. He is officially washed. Taylor Swift is taking the remaining of his powers. He's got that Illinois State Trooper police cut that he got now, which is taking all his game. Look like that nigga's gonna tell me license registration. I feel like he gonna do that. Number 2, I saw a commercial on Peacock that said "Coming from the Mind of Ryan Murphy," starring Emmy Award winner Courtney B. Vance, starring Emmy nominee Niecy Nash, starring Travis Kelce. And I said, that's all I need to see. This nigga's finished. I think he's washed. And number 2, I saw this came to me from a tweet I saw last night. Somebody said, when Pat was huffing it up in the first half, and he hasn't been great the first couple games, said y'all need to start giving him slander like y'all give Hurts and Lamar. And I said, oh, you thought you was gonna sprinkle Jalen Hurts in there like some parsley, my nigga. No. Those two is not the same as those two men who have 4 MVPs in between them. Jalen Hurts is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Since week 1 of 2023, he leads quarterbacks in turnovers with 26. Enough. He had a hot year. I said when he had that what was that wild card game, the year that the Buccaneers won the championship, and that defense tore him up. The boy ain't that good. Him and Cheesecake Matt Nagy, aka Nick Sirianni, need to be up out of our lives forever. Those are my takes. Are these overreactions to y'all, or am I on the right track with this?
I won't tolerate Jalen Hurts slander on my watch. So I think it's a bit of an overreaction simply because there has been a bit of turnover in the offensive coordinator role with that organization. So, does he make some questionable fucking decisions? 100%. But I'm not gonna sit up here and say that Jalen Hurts is washed. I can't say it.
Well, as someone who has called Jalen Hurts Huff for the past 3 years, I agree with you 100%, brother. Like, take the tush push out. He's Huff, very mediocre.
Overrated does not mean whack.
Overrated does not mean whack.
I do that.
Shane O'Mac. I was actually giving Lamar some love with that. But just you wait after Sunday Night Football next week. You niggas better not let Josh Allen walk into Baltimore and get a dub. Next Monday will be a good show. But go ahead.
Overrated does not mean whack, but that nigga overrated. Yeah.
Is Jalen Hurts
yes?
I'm not trying to be funny. Yes. Do people talk about Jalen Hurts as being a top 5 quarterback?
Do you follow Eagle fans?
He's a top 10 quarterback.
I mean, I would like to. I listen. That was a painful game for me to watch because I am an Eagles enjoyer. Okay, I'm a Saints fan through and through. I was actively rooting for my Saints. That was a fucking heartbreaker. Okay, but I don't think of Jalen Hurts as a top 5 quarterback. So that's kind of interesting to me to see it from the outside perspective. I guess that people that hold him in that regard. I don't
see Jalen Hurts right now as a top 10 quarterback right now. If the season would have started off better, I'd be with you, Courtney, because I am a Jalen Hurts fan. But I think that a lot has been put on Nick Sirianni. A lot of blame has been thrown his way because people don't like him. They think he weird and stuff. But not a lot of stuff has been put on Jalen Hurts. He showed his leadership because the coach didn't speak the first game. He deferred to the quarterback. Why would you do that? They are giving him bail because of the head coach when the head coach is no longer the offensive guy. Is somebody else who I also believe that is overrated as hell. As far as the Travis Kelce thing, yeah, man, it's a wrap, G. And it was a wrap before he started messing around with Taylor Swift. That man has been slowing down for a while, and you want to know why I know it's a wrap? Wow. I was saying last year, why are y'all one-on-one-ing this dude? Double him and watch him become mid. They have been doubling him, and that was the excuse that they gave this weekend. Oh, he's seeing a lot of double coverage, so it's hard to, nigga. You supposed to be just as good as wide receivers and shit.
Yeah.
Drop that coverage, my G. Figure it out. It's a wrap, man. Go ahead and start tolling the bell, man.
Also, how old is Travis Kelce? I'm not trying to be
34, I think.
He 30.
He like our age. He like our age.
Hey, Father Time remains undefeated.
Hey, man, look, I ain't never seen. I ain't see Gronk fall off.
Our age playing tight end. I mean, come on.
And also, part of my beef with Travis Kelce is I don't like Gronk erasure, and I feel like we've been seeing too much Gronk erasure because this nigga's playing with Patrick Mahomes. That's just my beef.
That's just good old fashioned recency bias.
That's the thing with that. It's not even fucking. I think Bomani Jones said this shit. He was like, "Wait, Are y'all fucking serious?
It's not a competition.
Did y'all forget who Gronk was? Like,
Yeah.
no. Like,
That's just
it's
recency
Gronk and
bias.
everybody else. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
the only nigga I'm respecting you put with Gronk is Tony Gonzalez, G. Like, that's it.
In my opinion, same thing's happening in baseball right now with people. Shohei. Like, did y'all watch what Barry Bonds did?
That's why I asked that question last
again,
week.
and I love Shohei Ohtani, but like, it's recency bias. That's all.
That's why I asked that question last week.
Who wants to go next with the overreaction?
I go next. I got a good one.
You go.
I got a good one. Y'all not gonna like it, but I got a good one. This nigga Sam Darnold is actually good.
Oh,
You took
I've told y'all this for several years. This man spent a year with Kyle Shanahan, got his mind right. Sam Darnold can make any fucking throw on that field, has a cannon, and now he finally has an offensive coordinator. And by the way, Brandon Addison's about to come back. Like, so he's about to have
This is why people weren't tripping about Kevin O'Connell when Kirk Cousins walked out the door. Because I guess Kevin O'Connell saw something, obviously. And he, just like you sent us that clip earlier, Scott, from who was it? Chris Long from his podcast.
Mikey said that. Mikey said that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. No, Sam Darnold is can make any fucking throw. He has a fucking rocket on his right shoulder, bro, and he's slinging that bitch. So I hate to say it as a Bears fan because we got to deal with them, but everybody talking about JJ, fuck all that. Are y'all not watching Sam Darnold throw the football?
I'm pretty sure Sam Darnold MVP odds, which is a crazy sentence to utter. But Sam Darnold MVP odds are went from 100 to 1 to 35 to 1. So
I think it's a slight overreaction, but I'm gonna expand more since the Vikings are our next topic. But I'm not mad. I'm mad at it because he's in the division, but I'm not mad at the tape. Go ahead, man.
You took mine because as y'all heard me say on the show plenty of times, J.J. McCarthy is going to be the head coach at Nazareth High School, his alma mater in LaGrange Park. And this speeds up the process. I did not realize that Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow.
The man's lived a full life.
I did not. When I heard that, I said, oh, shit. If this man continues on this trajectory, you can lowball him with a pretty decent contract and still get some years out of him, or trade his ass and then be like, oh, fuck, we fucked up by keeping J.J. McCarthy.
And I don't think he's going to be even here. Nobody's going to be able to lowball him if he keeps performing like that. There's a shortage.
Is this a 1 year deal? It's a 1 year deal?
I think it's just, I think he just had 1 year left on
But no, I got a name for y'all real quick. Alex Smith. Remember, San Francisco fucked that up. And then he came back and had a very good career until he damn near ripped his leg off. Yeah. Sam Darnold, bro, he's going to make a lot of money. I'm telling y'all, he is not weak. He is not weak, G. I hate to say it because he's on the Vikings, but nah, bro. Sam is legit.
All right, my overreaction, and it might not actually be an overreaction, but there's a lot of season left. The Cowboys suck. The Cowboys are not good. The Cowboys might be cooked. And it's funny because a reporter asked Jerry Jones, why didn't you go get Derrick Henry? And he was like, oh, we couldn't afford him. What do you mean? What do you mean you couldn't afford him? Their running game is absolutely trash. Their defense looked incredibly suspect. I know they're really missing Deron Bland. I said that yesterday, but yeah, I think the Cowboys are cooked.
You know what's crazy? I agree with you 100%, but I also feel like Jerry Jones is watching this now this is why I didn't spend money.
He spent money. He spent a little money on fucking aging Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as
there's always money in the banana stand.
Oh no, I agree with you. I agree with you. He has the money, but I also feel like he's I'm tired of adding to this because we know how this ends. Maybe that's just how I'm looking at it.
But the problem now is that there's just so much over-reliance on the Dak and CD connection. What you're going to have is games like yesterday where maybe CeeDee Lamb is just not on his P's and Q's, and then what are you going to do then? That's just – you can't run the ball. That's –
Orlando's been preaching Micah to the Bears for weeks. You keep putting that into the air, brother. You keep putting that into the air. Defense is the last of our – even though defense is the last of our problems right now, but
at the same time, they moving Montez around. They need to get somebody on that other side, which is I won't use the Bears in mind, but I believe that the Cowboys should start shopping Micah Parsons. That was my second one. My first one was Sam Darnold is a dark horse MVP candidate. My second one is, if I am the Dallas Cowboys, I start shopping Micah Parsons now. First off, I didn't realize that Micah Parsons needed a haircut. Like, he needs a lining right now. I don't know whose lining is worse, him or Caleb Williams, but both of them don't have linings. But when you have the team that you have, clearly this is Dak and CeeDee Lamb's team, even though what happened on the sideline, and I don't even feel like that was a dust-up. But Micah Parsons is the loudest one and the least producing one right now. And
I don't want to hear you on a podcast on Wednesdays when y'all niggas you ain't tackling nobody, my G.
Exactly. I don't want to hear you podcasting and talking about how the team needs to do this and do that, and you shit the bed. And I also believe that playing him up, even though he's capable of doing a lot of things, I think in this defense that he's currently in, it's not too good of a fit in the way Mike Zimmer does things. So if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, who's in need of a lot of pieces, I'm entertaining trading Micah Parsons. I am starting to shop him to see what his worth is, and I might pull the trigger before the trading deadline.
Shout out to everybody watching on Instagram. There's a lot of people watching on IG, man. Shout out to y'all. That concludes Overreaction Monday. I like that topic. That segment. We're gonna bring that back. We're gonna bring that back. We gotta run Overreaction Monday back. But the next one we're gonna talk about is actually Dante's overreaction. Are the Minnesota Vikings actually good? The Vikings currently right now sit number one in the NFC North at 3-0 with very impressive wins. Took care of the New York Giants like they're supposed to. Knocked out the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers last week. And straight up washed the Houston Texans. We saw Sam Darnold, little bro, CJ. You'll be all right, little G. You'll be all right, little G. In the middle of the field, and CJ had that look like you can hear the Curb Your Enthusiasm tune playing in his head. Like, how did I get here? To Sam Darnold is doing this to me. Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson, in my opinion. At worst, second best wide receiver in the league, and I only say that because I still think Devontae's number one. He's just playing with bums. He's got that. You got Kevin O'Connell, who I have been preaching the good word about Kevin O'Connell since they hired him. Me and my brother had a long argument about this, and then he texted me. He told me yesterday on the way back from Indy, you know what? You was right about that nigga. Kevin O'Connell is a great coach. Aaron Jones showing a little bit of life. That defense is still good. I will say this, and I want to pull up the Vikings schedule real quick so I can really kind of see what I feel about what they're gonna do. But Sam Darnold right now in 3 games played has 657 yards passing.
Their next 3 games, they got a little bit of a test. Let me tell you.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it right now. He leads the league in touchdowns with 8. And 2 interceptions. He has a QB rating of 117.3, and he's completing 67.9 of his passes. He had 4 touchdowns last night. Now, here is the Vikings' upcoming schedule. Let's just do their next 4. So they've got the Packers next week in Green Bay. Maybe that's the game. Maybe that's the game Jordan Love comes back. He will be limited in practice this week, according to Matt Ebeflus. Then they go on the road. They come home to play Aaron Rodgers, somebody they're familiar with, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And they got a division game, Detroit coming into the house. And then they head to SoFi to take on the LA Rams. I'm looking at this right now. I can see him going 2-2. I can also see him 3-1. But it also would not shock me if they went 1-3. There's so many different ways that this can go. And I think we're really about to see what this team is. I have more faith in them being a good team more than I have more faith that Sam Darnold has arrived. I got to see more from that. But I'm going to go to you, Dante, first.
They're going 3-1, brother.
Where's the L, bro?
What's the L?
I think they lose to the Jets. I think the Jets are going to surprise some people. I think they lose to the Jets. But I think the games that we expect them to lose, they're going to win. And I really think that this team, and I love how we just wrote them off at the beginning of the season. Like,
We
yeah,
really
they're gonna be
really
fourth
did.
place. It don't matter.
Them niggas winning 2 games.
Brian Flores, for as terrible as a head coach as he was, he's an amazing defensive coordinator.
But is he going to get himself another job? Is he gonna?
No, he's not. No, that's old. That's old.
Nobody's hiring that nigga again.
You don't sue the league and then we'll hire you.
Yeah, niggas don't get.
We'll give you a job, but you're
Can
gonna
he
be
coach
the
himself
guy.
into another head coaching job?
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely
I think he'll be one of those dudes where he's gonna be a very good defensive coordinator for a very long time.
As a black man, we don't get those opportunities after the shit he did. I will say this, and this is no disrespect to what has happened to this young man, because it is it hurts to see him out like that. But at the same time, the only team that will take a flyer on him is a team that's like, yo, you was kind of right to his ass, and his ass is unhealthy. And look what happened to the Miami Dolphins. They're on that third string quarterback again.
In Boyle season.
You had a point. So it has to be a douchebag, basically.
Yeah, that motherfucker will put 9 people on the line of scrimmage and run a cover 2. Like, it's some of the craziest shit you've seen.
Did I hear correctly, or am I tripping that Snoop Huntley is now the backup quarterback to?
He's on the practice squad.
Okay,
so Boyle finished the game. Huntley is the backup, and he may
whose
start.
practice squad?
Dolphins.
Oh.
They got him from the Ravens practice squad.
Oh man, we just got some Niner news. I'm bringing the next topic. It goes back to I think them being cooked. We'll get to that.
I said
I don't have too much to say about Minnesota. That was my only thought, and that's the only real bit of intrigue besides what I said about Sam Darnold earlier. Is can Brian Flores maybe possibly wiggle his back way into a head coaching position?
For the sake of my fantasy team, don't say what I think you're finna say.
Oh, all man. Right, well, I'll say this real quick about Brian Flores. He's the MVP of this team. This defense looks scary. This is a defense that I do not want to deal with. So I would not be surprised if they go undefeated.
You say you wouldn't be on the next 4?
Yep.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Let's get into this this Niners news. So the Niners, this just came in from Matt Burrows. Mikey just put this in the chat. Javon Hargrave partially tore his triceps and will be out for the season. He is done, and the hits keep on hitting for the San Francisco 49ers, who are currently 1-2.
Additionally, since it's relevant, Shanahan also just said that Brock Purdy is day-to-day with back soreness.
Okay. And this is at they lost last night, blew a double-digit lead to the LA Rams, basically at home. Those number 9 fans up in SoFi. I don't know if y'all peeped on a gangbang note. Russell Westbrook threw up neighborhood on the jumbotron. I went back and rewound it. I seen those hand movements before. The nigga threw up 60s on the jumbotron. Just wanted to get that gangbang fact about that. But
I did throw GD today, so shit.
That's fine. I'm one to me and Mike. We shook it up at Pillows, and Bang was like, "See, I love to see friends still gang banging." We've all been there, Russ. But they lost the last 2, blew a double-digit lead last night to the Rams. Lost 2 weeks ago to the Minnesota Vikings. So this is the upcoming 4 games. They'll be at home this week against the Patriots. I think they'll be able to win that one. Then they got 2 division games in a row. Cardinals, you'll have Man and Murder Mall Jr. coming to Levi Stadium. Then they got to go on the road to Seahawks. Those games are always competitive. Then they've got a rematch of the Super Bowl as Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs roll in them. I think this can get I said this 2 weeks ago that I felt like that something was going to happen, because usually we have a run like the Niners have had these last 5 years. I think they've been to 3 or 4 NFC championship games, been to the Super Bowl twice, lost both. Eventually, you're just not going to keep making it. And that's why you got to win. And now they got these injuries. Hargrave is out for the season. Brock Purdy's dealing with back issues. Debo is out for like 6 weeks. Did Nick Bosa play? Was Nick Bosa still hurt? Nick Bosa hurt?
I think he's still hurt.
Yeah, Bosa's hurt. My question to y'all, I'm gonna go to Courtney first. Are the Niners cooked?
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt that way. And listen, I know misses happen, but it was one of those kind of morale killers when he missed that field goal. Jake Moody missed that field goal. I was like, yeah, that's like a sucks the air out of the room kind of miss, you know? There were a couple of different, like that should have been an even playing field, right? Like both of those teams were dealing with injuries. Like, and even you got so much production from guys that I mentioned, I'm not trying to take a victory lap here, but like Jawan Jennings, you got an unreasonable amount of production out of that guy. And you didn't take advantage of it. So yeah, I fear the Niners are cooked.
Bang, what you feel, man? You think they done?
I told y'all during the pre-show, the season preview, that I think there's gonna be a fight for them to make the playoffs. It's the same thing with Kansas City. When you play so many games, your team is bound to start battling attrition, and that's what they're battling right now. And even Samuels has said, like, look, fam, it's now or never for us. That tells me right there that team is not about, we've been there so long and we finally got to do it. No, that tells me, we ain't got enough left, fam. So if we gonna do it, we got to do it now. Break this shit up. So yes, I think that it is a wrap. I think that if they even make it to the playoffs, I don't think they're going to be healthy enough to do anything outside of that. And then the question is going to come, do we pay Brock Purdy $60 million? Do we? It's going to be some interesting decisions in Santa Clara.
We getting a lot of injuries here. Joe Alt, MCL sprain, and DA, I forgot about Chris McCaffrey. I did. So he's going to Germany. They trying to give him the Kobe.
The blood spinning. You need to go get the blood spinning stem cells.
Yeah.
Oh, they need to just cut that. They need to cut that bitch like Pet Cemetery and resew it.
Hey,
because if he going to Germany to do some shit, that's nah.
They could, bro. I knew they was cooked when they let Brandon Ayuk get jumped at the end of the game. Like niggas was walking off like, fuck, it don't matter. We don't care. He getting slapped around by coaches and motherfuckers not even in uniform. I say, oh no, they don't care. They don't care. This team is done. But yeah, I'm with you. It's time for a change. You're gonna see some people cycle in and out of there. And one thing that does work in their benefit, when you got a coach like Kyle Shanahan, there's no way in hell I'm giving Brock Purdy that money. You lost your fucking mind. I just drafted this motherfucker with the very last pick of the draft. Like, my coach is competent enough where I can go get another quarterback. Yeah. I could have kept Sam Darnold if we want to keep it a bean. Ain't no fucking way I'm paying that man like elite quarterback money. Hell no. You gonna take a team discount or you're not gonna work here no more. Like that. That's where I'm at with it. But it's over. This iteration of the team is done. It's done.
We're gonna move on to our next topic, man. We gotta talk about Mr. Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, man.
I picked that game.
Yeah, you did. You did. Game. The Red Rifle himself. He lit it up in Vegas. Let's keep it a buck. The nigga lit it up. I was in the press box, and a couple Bears media members like, "Are you guys seeing Purdy right now?" Not Purdy, but Dalton. I was like, "What?" And I looked it up. Mikey threw it in the chat, and I'm like, "Oh, this nigga taking off." They won, beat the Raiders, and this is just peak Raiders stuff. Beating the Ravens on the road last week, and then it got so bad this week that they benched Gardner Minshew for Aiden O'Connell. They lost 36-22. And this score, the game wasn't even as close as the score is showing right now. Andy Dalton was 26 of 37, and he had 3 touchdowns, man. 3 touchdowns, and it was the first drive of 70 straight yards. 70 straight yards led into the end zone, man. He was out there styling. He was feeling himself in the post game. Bang, you called this one, so I'm gonna go to you first. What's up with Dalton? Could this be a long-term thing for Carolina?
Oh no, it's definitely not a long-term thing. Like, no, let's not get that confused now. It's not a long-term thing, but as we had said last week, right? The boy didn't play in the preseason. Bryce Young didn't play in the preseason. He needs time to develop. I think if anything, it gives him an opportunity to look and really learn from a professional. Because honestly, man, if we want to keep it a buck, this is really his rookie year. You fired the head coach who didn't want him in the first place. They wanted CJ Stroud. Everybody knows this. I know this. I heard from people that everybody thought it was going to be CJ Stroud who they drafted. So you fire him and then you go hire a new head coach. This is really truly his rookie season. So I'm not mad at people sitting Bryce Young down to give him an opportunity to learn and grow. With that being said, I also don't believe outside of Shedeur Sanders that there's somebody that is near generational. This is not the best quarterback class to me. And Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders ain't going to allow his son to come to Carolina. With that being said, I think this is a good opportunity for them to grow. But no, I do not think this is a long-term thing. Andy Dalton has always been a short-term fix, and that's what he'll be. And we'll see Bryce Young at the end of the season, unless somebody offers them a great deal to grab him, let's say Miami.
I'll say this about Andy Dalton, man. He is who he is. It was a great game, great showing, but the nigga is who he is, bro. And I feel that Bryce Young will be back before Thanksgiving. That is my take, that we will see Bryce Young back on the field before Thanksgiving. But I did think it was hilarious to see how much easier it looked for him compared to how lost Bryce Young went out there. It's like the team had a whole new life. You know what I'm saying? There were Panther fans in the crowd. Granted, it's Vegas. Some niggas probably were just there to enjoy Vegas. But you didn't see that before. Dante, what you think about Andy Dalton's performance last night?
Man, I ain't worried about no motherfucking Andy Dalton. It's one of those things where, like, he's just, it's clearly showed you he's a professional. This man is, you know, a guy that's been in the game over 10 years, used to play in the AFC North. So he's going up against great defenses. It's one of those situations where it's not a thing where he's gonna, lift them to a playoff contender and no shit like that. It's just simply, he's able to process and read things faster than Bryce Young because he wasn't just thrown into a shit situation immediately. He's been in several other shitty situations. So this ain't the first time thing for Andy Dalton. So I'm not taking too much out of it, but I mean, it's one of those situations where it's like, I expected him to come in and process things better and look better running an offense than Bryce, because Bryce has, had 3 coaches in 18 games or something fucking crazy like that. Yeah. So, what are we really expecting from this kid at this point?
Shout out my guy Germs watching us on Instagram. I know he gonna hit me up about Darnold. He's a Vikings fan. And I'm telling you, Darnold gonna be nice. He said this in the regular in preseason, and I was like, get out of my face. But as usual, because I'm a Bears fan, I look like an idiot. Courtney, what you think about what you saw from Sam Darnold last night?
I didn't watch too much beyond what I was seeing on Red Zone, but I just immediately got flashes to Joe Flacco last year for the Browns. It definitely was giving flashes of that. So, obviously he looked great, but then we also have to bring ourselves back down to earth. And like Dante said, it's Andy Dalton. So, great game for us fantasy folk who drafted Deontay Johnson. That was a real galaxy play. But yeah, no, I'm not worried about Andy Dalton. I'm not worried about the Panthers. It's still fuck the Panthers. I still think that the Saints, in spite of that game, will finish with a better record than them.
I mean, yeah, they have to. I would say this fantasy-wise, I apologize to you, Courtney, for telling you to keep DeAndre Swift. That's my apologies. You can send that nigga to the bench.
No.
That nigga's
safe. You're safe. He's gone. I do not trust the Chicago coaching staff. How many times did Caleb Williams drop back? 56?
52. By the way, Caleb didn't even know.
You do that to your rookie quarterback.
Caleb didn't even know that. We asked him how they feel throwing the ball 50 times. That nigga looked at us and said, I threw it 50 times? That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know. We're going to wrap this block. Preaching to the choir. Niggas thought this nigga got a beard and a cool suit, and this nigga know how to coach. No, nigga, not at all. But last topic before we wrap up this block, and then we're gonna bring in our college football correspondent, Sports Illustrated's own Kyron Samuels. We're gonna talk about Colorado's crazy overtime win this past Saturday. We'll talk about who is the best team in college football right now. He also wants to give his take on Caleb and the Bears. We'll give him that. And he also wants to talk a little early draft talk with his great as Travis Hunter. That nigga is 101. We're gonna talk about that in just about 10 minutes. But I want to talk about who's the best quarterbacks, who's the best, who are the toughest quarterbacks. I want to do a top 5 worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. This is hard, but I want to go with number 1. I want to know if all y'all agree with me with number 1. Number 1 worst starting quarterback in the NFL is the nigga I watched last night. Anthony Richardson is the worst quarterback in the NFL. He's worse than Daniel Jones. He's worse than Will Levis.
Is he worse than Gardner Minshew?
Yes. Gardner Minshew looked like Drew Brees compared to Anthony Richardson.
That nigga's huff. If he didn't run, then he could. No, he's terrible.
I think a lot of Anthony Richardson. Listen, I'm not saying that he's like the greatest quarterback of all time, but I think that a lot of Anthony Richardson's issues with his throwing is fixable. I think it's mechanics, and I think it's fixable. I don't think. Listen, that man has played on big stages before. I think I can fix him.
Courtney, what big stage did Anthony Richardson play on?
Riddle me that,
Batman. Riddle me that, Batman.
He played at Florida. SEC ball is unlike anything else.
Listen, when that nigga threw that ball and hit the goddamn ceiling on his pro day, I say, yeah, this nigga's terrible. Stop it. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? No.
You can fix him. Yeah, you sound like a black woman that see a nigga from the hood and is like, yo, I can fix him. I can fix him.
Let's put a suit on him. He'll be all right. No. He's gonna rob you.
He's gonna rob you. Slide into my DMs. I'm not interested.
He took the Nissan Altima to go fuck some random bitch out.
Yeah, not to be on my Scott shit. I hate to say it, but it's gonna be a lot of brothers on this worst 5 list.
Hey, man,
there's some huff niggas out here right now. It's just honest. We just being honest.
Drunk Cam Newton is crazy. There's a lot of
Daniel Jones has one competent game, and y'all up here talking crazy.
No. When I tell
Malik Neighbors gonna save his life.
Look, man, I've seen huff quarterbacks 98% of my life as a Bears fan. Let me tell you right now.
When you see one, huh?
I know one when I see one. That nigga is sorry.
Also, and with respect, because Bang, I'm gonna admit it. You are going to put Anthony Richardson and huff quarterbacks ahead of Will Levis right now, who has been bozo fucking number 1 for the past few weeks.
Yeah, we lost the Black Taysom Hill.
We did. We really did.
Anthony Richardson stinks. And you know what makes it worse? When he was on Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed's pod 2 weeks ago talking about, I hate Patrick Mahomes. He's in my way. Nigga, Daniel Jones is in your way. What are you talking about?
Who said
that?
Anthony Richardson.
No, you got to send us the clip.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to find it right now.
Send us the clip.
Anthony Richardson.
No, you got to send us the clip.
I'm sending it right now. Anthony Richardson on.
I don't believe that.
I'm going to find it right now. The name of the Trenches podcast.
I know the name of the goddamn podcast. I just don't believe he said it.
Okay, I'm finna send it to you right now, nigga. Patrick Mahomes. Let me see. Here we go. I got it right here.
Anyway, I'm so sorry. I can't just sit up here and tolerate anything. I'm sorry. Will Levis is worse than Anthony Richardson.
I got Will Levis number 1 is the worst starting quarterback
right now.
But Anthony Richardson is number 2. But if he said that shit.
Check I'm gonna play the audio. Hold on.
Anthony Richardson is the hub.
Hold on. Third week in the building. I ain't gonna bring up what happened, but we was rapping. You remember what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. One thing I told Ant was you came in, you, Bryce, CJ. Obviously, y'all been competing for this spot, like you said, since y'all was in high school. But the reality of the situation is, once you're a rookie, you're no longer compared to other rookies. You're compared to everybody else. So your true competition is Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Josh Allen. Speak on how you feel about that, how you approach that. Is that something that you think about?
I ain't gonna lie. It was either before I got drafted or right after I got drafted. I was walking around the crib like telling my folks, I'm like, I don't like Patrick Mahomes. He in my way. And they're like, what that mean? I'm like,
what I say? Yeah, nigga.
Toughest nigga in America.
That nigga's
nigga
worse.
in America right now. No.
So So we got him on there. Let's say who else we got? That's one. We got to put Will Levis on there. Will
Levis number 2 now because of that audio. And no way in hell oh man, fuck.
And the worst part is they was gassing that man.
He said about coaching when it pertains to Will Levis, because how do you get Malik Willis out of Tennessee and now he's thriving in Green Bay? Listen, I know there's the Shanahan, McVay, LaFleur effect. Like, come on, man.
So the only on that piece about Malik Willis, Brian Callahan, this is his first year as the head coach. He didn't draft Malik Willis. That was Mike Vrabel and all of that stuff. So
for sure.
But I'm also not a big fan of Brian Callahan either. So
and I mean clearly his quarterbacks aren't either because Malik Willis is thriving without him.
I'm about to say, speaking of another brother that's huffing it up, Bryce Young, like the nigga that got benched. We
gotta put Bryce on the 5.
I know circumstance matters.
Right?
Circumstance don't need to matter. We ain't got no journalistic integrity on this show. That ain't got to matter. We do, nigga.
That's like, no, we do, nigga.
Dante's like, excuse me.
We take this serious. Like
I by default have journalistic integrity.
Well, let me change that. I don't have journalistic integrity. That nigga's huff. He's going on a list. What Chris Jericho say, man? You made the list.
You made the list.
Now we gotta go. He said, we really talk about a man that puts mayo in his coffee. That exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Then we gotta put Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the reason that Malik Neighbors, before he got drafted, said, "Oh yeah, me and Jaden Daniels got a bet. We're gonna have the best rookie stats." Then he saw he was gonna be at, and he went on a pivot talking about, that we ain't got that bet no more. Niggas, you know who's throwing to you. You know who's throwing to you. We throwing Daniel Jones in there. Now, who do we have to...
Yesterday, Malik Neighbors just prolonged that man's career by like 2 years.
That tap.
No, Malik gonna save him for real. Malik gonna save him.
Malik gonna crash out.
Number 5 is your boy. The 27-year-old rookie, Bo Nix.
Nah.
Oh, I can't put Bo Nix on it.
Don't give me one game and now y'all love Bo Nix.
I don't even love
Bo Nix's first 2 games of the season were against some pretty tough defenses.
I'm just saying that Freaky Sean is top 5 to me.
Thank you.
Oh, I forgot about
Freaky Sean.
Don't forget about the freak.
Freaky Sean is in the 5.
Y'all right. My bad, Bo.
Thank you.
My bad, old nigga.
Go some slack.
Remember our whole was like, unleash the flutes on him. They finna unleash the tapes on that nigga. They finna get him up out of there. It's finna be a wrap for Freaky Sean, bro. He done, bro.
It's about to be 27 new accusers in a week, nigga. Like, they about to get him up out of there. They are done with him. Like, it's over. Like we've said time and time again, your talent is not gonna save you this time, brother. Like,
man,
they're gonna toss them right out to the trash.
Oh man, I know what the clip gonna be this week. Top 5 toughest quarterbacks in the league, man. We're gonna go to our next segment, final segment. We'll be back in about a minute. We're gonna have our college football correspondent, Sports Illustrated's own homie Kyron Samuels join us in just 1 minute. We're gonna talk some college football in just a second.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here on I'm Not Gonna Hold You. You just saw that ad. If you're listening to this on wherever you watch and listen, bcnetshop.com. Get your merch, man. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna wrap today's episode up. We've got our college football correspondent here, Sports Illustrated's own Kyron Samuels. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good, man. Happy to be back on the show and talk some football as always.
Definitely, man. Definitely glad to have you back on, man. Let's just get right into it. This past weekend, we had a whole bunch of great games. Started off on Friday with Illinois getting that big dub over, Mahomes. I don't know what to call him. Mahomes, weirdo Mahomes is what you want to call. I just think everything that Dylan Raiola does is just like super weird when it comes to him, man. But the big one of the most exciting games we had this weekend was on Saturday, overtime win. Colorado prime Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter won 38-31. And there was a Big 12 debut. Man, tell us what you thought about this game and what stood out to you in this game.
First of all, I want to give credit to the defensive side of the football for Colorado, because even though some points were scored, it was 31 points over 4 quarters and an overtime. And one of those touchdowns came on a kickoff return. So they really only gave up 24 points, got put in some inopportune positions a couple of times. So it was cool to see them get in there and really affect the ball, especially in the second half, man. That team has only given up 19 points in the fourth quarter and overtime of all 4 games. 4 games they played this season. So the second half adjustments have been great. The defensive line has stepped up and answered the call in a big way. That's one of the biggest things about that team was people being able to run the ball easily on them, and they didn't really give up. They had, I believe, Baylor had 166 yards on 41 carries, and 45 of those was on that breakout run by the quarterback when they went 0 blitz and didn't have anybody to account for him. So for the most part, they did fantastic against the run, and that was their biggest Achilles heel, and it's been the reason why they've been able to stay in games. We can say a million things about Shedeur Sanders and everything he's done, but he's a legit NFL first-round prospect, and he plays like it every week. They have the number 5 passing offense in college football. He has the number 4 passing yards in college football. So he's been doing a fantastic job. But outside of the defense, outside of the superb quarterback play, I just want to say Travis Hunter should win the Heisman. I don't give a damn what Colorado's record is. I don't care where they're sitting at the end of the season. That kid is probably the best football player I've seen with my own 2 eyes since I've been alive, at least. I mean, there's nobody else that I can think about that is legitimately a first-round prospect on both sides of the ball and plays like that every single week. He literally played every defensive snap, didn't get targeted once, still made 2 run stops, and then forced fumble at the end of the game. And then he had his 5th consecutive 100-yard receiving game, which broke a Colorado record as a receiver. So to see that is just absolutely insane. Seeing Colorado is must-see TV every week, whether you love them, you hate them, and Travis Hunter is probably the biggest reason why.
And when you talk about, Travis Hunter, I think what stands out about Trav more than anything is that he is so excellent on both sides of the ball where it doesn't kind of feel like it's a drop off. Because even if you have some players who are, play both sides of the ball, there's one side that they're clearly better at. I don't really know which side he's better at. And I think whoever drafts him is just really what it is for that team's need that I think he plays. What do you think? If your team drafted him, is there any position you think that he favors a little bit more?
Well, it's a funny question, man. I think he's a better wide receiver, but I think the NFL values the defensive back position more, especially because they're so rare. When you have a guy with that skill set, those ball skills, I think he's a solid man corner, but I think he can be an elite, fantastic zone corner in the NFL, similar to like a Richard Sherman. If you get a guy like that that's really smart, is able to read defenses, read the quarterbacks, and fall back a little bit, and not have to worry about being bump and run and really covering those guys and trailing guys across the field. If he's able to just sit and stalk one side of the field and play that kind of role, he would be exceptional as a corner. So I think he's better as a receiver, but I also still think he's a first-round corner, and the league may value that more. So I think he may have more value to get drafted higher as a defensive back. But I also believe, you're looking for the second contract. Everybody wants to talk about where you get drafted, but the second contract is where everybody's thinking about: the agencies, the players, the teams. The second contract money is with the receiver. We're seeing these receivers get paid astronomical amounts. So I think he may want to play both on the next level, but his agent probably wants him to play receiver, and the team might want him to play DB. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Courtney, I saw you were bobbing your head when you said the Heisman thing. What do you think about Travis's Heisman chances, especially since you and Bane both think they're not going to win that many more games? What do you think about his chances to win the Heisman this year? You muted, boss.
My bad. No, I don't. Obviously, I would love to see him win the Heisman. That's why I'm in total agreement. I'm like, I don't care how bad the team is. I just would love to see him win the Heisman. I think he is the best player in college football right now. But again, because he is on a team that's, maybe not winning, I feel like that's going to be the thing that holds him back, which again is silly just because it is an individual award. But that was really all out. My only thought. That's all.
Bang, man, what you like about what you saw from Colorado this weekend? Are you still think that if games it'll be a miracle?
Oh yeah, it's still not gonna be a lot. I mean, I pegged this game against Baylor to be a win. I have a question for you, Kai. My question is how long can Travis Hunter do this? Like it's not that he's playing both sides. He's playing both sides at a high level. A lot is on his shoulders. How long do you think that he can do this? Because if he's going to win the Heisman, this is something you got to do all season long.
I mean, I don't have the answer to that question because we've never seen this before. I mean, people try to throw and I'm comfortable saying this. I know people going to kill me for it. I've already had some conversations, but people try to compare him to Woodson or Gamble or some of the people that have done a little bit of both ways in the past. And I think I've seen enough to put him at a different caliber, that he's the best two-way football player we've ever seen in college football, because nobody thought of those guys as receivers, right? Nobody thought of those guys as strictly returners. They were defensive backs who could give you some reps on the other side of the ball and place a little bit of receiver.
Yeah, it was just it's cool. Look at
Chip Bailey's probably the next best guy, in my opinion, because he played legitimate reps on both sides of the ball. Yeah. So the Woodson and the Gamble comparison is I respect the hell out of those dudes. Two of the best I've ever seen in my life. But the only one that can kind of compare is Champ Bailey to me. And even then, Travis' snap count, his rep count is so far exceeding anything we've seen in the past. And he's doing it such an elite clip. I got to give him a different level of respect. But to answer the question, I do not know, because I've never seen this amount of reps. He got hurt last season, but it wasn't a soft tissue injury. It wasn't a ligament injury. He got cheap shotted with the kid from Colorado State and, lacerated his, whatever it was, had to sit out a couple games. So that was more like a dirty hit play instead of a attrition play built up. And he played the rest of the season at a high level. So he did it for one season already. He's doing it right now at an extreme level. I do think they are able to spare him a little bit more. There was a couple series close to the end of the game there where they were able to get Omarion Miller in, the young kid. They were able to get Will Shepard in. There's a freshman kid, number 6. I can't remember his name, I'm drawing a blank right now. But they're able to work in some more receivers and give him a little bit more of a break on the offensive side of the ball. And I think they'll have to build on that as the season goes and really just pick their spots with him offensively. But then again, I mean, he just broke the damn record for 100-yard receiving games in a row. So I think for the sake of his health and his long-term prospects, give him a little bit of a break on offense, because you have guys that have proven they can step up on that side of the ball, and you haven't seen that on defense. You need him on the field, locking down the half of the field on defense.
Definitely, man. Let's talk about, some of the best teams, the best team in college football. Now, I want to get your opinion on this guy right now. According to top 25 rankings, Texas, they are 4-0. They are ranked number 1. Currently just beat ULM on Saturday, 51-3. Arch Manning, who was playing, Quinn Ewers got hurt. Arch Manning, 15-29, 258 yards passing, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns. Is Texas the best team right now in college football, or is it somebody else to you?
I mean, I would go Texas by default. I mean, they have the most impressive win of the season so far. But I'm not 100% sold on those guys. I think Michigan is a pretty average football team. I think we saw a little bit of that again against USC. Even though they found a way to win the game, they can't throw the football. They have their spots on defense where you can attack them. They are vulnerable to good quarterbacks. And if you're able to hold up against that front, they can be picked apart in the passing game. So I'm not 100% sold on Michigan. And I think what they did was extremely impressive. But I think the best college football team will be determined this Saturday when Alabama plays Georgia. Georgia goes to Tuscaloosa to play them. Both teams are undefeated. I know they had a road game against Kentucky, but that's the SEC. When you're playing on the road, when you're playing in these environments, you're going to get everybody's best game. You're going to get the coach's best game plan. You're going to get the crowds at their best. And I think Georgia, despite all their troubles in that game, they're still the only team in college football this season that has not allowed an offensive touchdown. So nobody scored a touchdown yet against those guys. And Alabama has the most explosive offense, from my opinion, in the first 3 weeks of the season. They had a bye week last week, so did Georgia. So we're going to see potentially the best defense in the country going up against the best offense in the country. And I think whoever wins that game, to me, will be probably the best team I've seen so far, because Oregon has been subpar, has not played to their standard, in my opinion. Notre Dame has already taken a bad loss. We've already seen a couple of big teams go down. Ohio State hasn't really played anybody for us to determine if they're really good or not. So I give it to Texas right now, but Bama, Georgia is going to be the team that I'm looking for to push forward the rest of the season.
Hey, Kai, question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Tennessee?
Explosive offense. I love Hypo. I love Nico. I love their receiver Squirrel White. I love what they've done on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to talk some draft people later, but their center, Cooper Mays, for my money, is the best center in college football. He's incredible. But I'm not that impressed with Oklahoma. Like, if you watch Oklahoma, they replaced all 5 starters up front on the offensive line. So doing that, they're really good everywhere. Oklahoma's defense is top tier. They scored enough. I still think that they left a lot of points on the field. Tennessee's offense, that is. I'm not 100% sure about them. But the good thing about Tennessee is that we know they're going to score points. We know they're going to be explosive. But they get to play Alabama. They get to play Georgia. They're going to have these tough tests throughout the season. So we'll get to learn more about them as the season goes along. But I think they're fairly ranked right now in the top 8. They've shown that they deserve to be in that caliber of teams.
Absolutely.
Courtney, who do you think is the best right now? Is it Tennessee to you, or?
I mean, Tennessee is up there. I do agree with Kai, though, and I hate to sound like a homer. You know, I'm a Bama girl, Roll Tide.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm a Bama girl through and through. But that game is already gonna shave so many years off my life. But I do agree. I think the best 2 teams are going to play each other this week. I'm still not 100% sold on Texas for the same reason that you're not sold on Texas. I don't think Michigan is that good. And yes, I did apologize. Don't worry. I admitted back a few weeks ago, I said that Michigan was going to lose to USC. And I was wrong. But again, someone said in the comments that the officiating was not great. And, we can get into all that.
They should have lost to USC.
Another time.
I don't know what the hell USC was doing into that game. Like,
the officiating was bad, but the officiating didn't give you 290 rushing yards. I mean, they got
right. The officiating didn't tell Lincoln Riley to throw the ball on that last drive. Like,
I mean,
what are we doing?
You called a route short of the sticks on 4th and 8. He acted like he had another down. I just didn't understand that. And I mean, I cover USC for Sports Illustrated, USC and Oregon, so I've been right about that. And USC is a funny team because a lot of people were throwing them in the conversation of being up there with some of the best teams because, to me, it speaks more about LSU's actual value than it does for USC because people thought that they beat LSU. That means they're really good. They follow it up by beating the G5 team in Utah State, so everybody's kind of drinking the Kool-Aid. But if you watch LSU, they struggled against Nicholls State. They were in a ball game with Nicholls State in the 3rd quarter. Should have lost to South Carolina. They're squeaking by UCLA, even though they pulled away late. That was a close ball game for about 3.5 quarters. It just tells me that people don't really watch those LSU guys because they look like terrible after that USC game. And that kind of gave me a little bit of pause going into the Michigan game. But I think Michigan and the USC are 2 average football teams with great brand recognition right now.
Also, Kai, I got to ask while I have you, thoughts on Miami right now?
Ooh. Oh, man. So I think Miami, and I have to admit here, I do have a little bit of bias because my uncle coached with Mario Cristobal, and I developed a relationship with Cristobal years ago. So I love Cristobal. I'm a little bit biased towards him, but I think Miami's legit. I tweeted it out about 3rd quarter of that game that, hey, they need to take care. I mean, we need to take Miami seriously because they're here. They have their quarterback. They've had the trenches for a couple of years. Offensive line is one of the best in the country. Defense is legit. They're coached well. I think top to bottom, they're a very good football team. And we saw, I mean, Alabama struggled with South Florida, even though it was self-inflicted. I mean, they had like 130-something yards called back in a couple touchdowns with penalties in that game that kind of kept it closer than it should have been. But they struggled until they pulled away late, had like a 42-16 win. But it wasn't super convincing if you actually watched the game. I think Miami started off a little bit similar to the Alabama game, and then they pulled away the same way Alabama did. So if I got to give Alabama credit for that aspect, I'm going to give Miami the same credit. And they did it on the road at South Florida, even though it was kind of a mixed crowd. So I think Miami's legit. Cam Ward is one of the best players in the country. He's probably helped his draft stock more than any other player in college football this season so far. So legitimate team, and I think people should take them seriously because ACC is kind of sweet.
You actually took my question away from me. I was going to ask if Miami is a under the radar national championship contender, being that we are going into a playoff and there's more of a chance to possibly upset somebody.
Yeah, I mean, they're legit. I don't think they're going to be under the radar for long because when you watch them play, when you watch their athleticism, you watch their speed, they have legit playmakers outside too. Like Restrepo, that kid is making some crazy plays after the catch. He's going and fighting some 50-50 balls. They're doing a great job getting off the field on 3rd downs. And I think they weathered the storm, right? You go to Florida, to the swamp, and we know Florida's not a great football team, but the environment in and of itself is a test. Going into that environment, 2:30, kicking off the season in a big environment, you pass that test. Then in the past, Mario Cristobal teams that kind of fell victim to that sleeper team that they shouldn't have lost to, and they didn't take care of business. Well, you got a really good team in South Florida with a dynamic quarterback, very good offense, some really nice guys in the trenches on defense, and then they still found a way to not only win that game, but dominate that game on the road. Didn't have uncharacteristic mistakes. Didn't have those things that make him have to make those in-game decisions that he struggled at sometimes. Mario Cristobal, that is, and that's got to be impressive to you because a lot of people are still thinking that South Florida could be a team that ends with 8 or 9 wins, maybe 10 wins, runs the table from here on out in the G5 Group of 5 game. So Miami is legit, man. I think they'll be a legit contender, and I think the beautiful thing for him, like you said, Bang, is that it's a 12-team playoff now. And if they do have that 1 week where they fuck up and they don't look good, it's not going to kill them. They've already taken care of business. If you beat Clemson, you beat Florida State, you're going to be fine. I think they'll be able to get into the playoff with an 11-1 record. And they still have the ACC championship game, so they're going to get an extra game maybe if they do some convincing at the end. Miami's in a good spot because Mario Cristobal, I don't know if y'all saw this, but he said he thought that South Florida was going to be the toughest team to prepare for. So
yeah, that's one of those trap games. Trust me.
Yeah.
Right. So
now, I'm definitely biased because when I decided to watch college football a couple years ago, I decided to pick Miami just because I'm gonna be real because I love the U documentary. Some of my favorite players went to Miami, and my boy Jared Payton, that's my boy. He went to the U, so I was like, I gotta mess with the U. But I think that Cam Ward, I think just his play alone, if they make the playoffs, gives them.
But he's got so many good weapons around him now too.
Exactly.
I mean, for me, there's still some question about marks with like Sam Brown, but like. Xavier Restrepo has been a dog for him.
He's a dog, man.
A dog. Like there's such a good team around him.
And I think having Damian Martinez later in the season, because I mean everybody's talking about Cam Ward, everybody's talking about the dynamic rest outside, but the ability to be able to run the ball later in the season is what's going to be able to really take them over the edge in those close games.
Did we ever find out who they hired to be their game management or time management coach? I'm still trying to figure that out.
I don't know who they hired, but they're doing a damn good job right now. They look a lot better.
I also got shout out my 2 guys who also put me on my man Lotto. He went to Miami too. My man Nick. I went to some Miami bars with them niggas in LA, man. So shout out to them. But before we I know you want to talk about Caleb and the Bears. Before we get to that last college football topic, I know we're still months away from the NFL draft. But tell us, what's some things that you're looking at early on in the very, very early draft process?
Well, I'll say this. I said this last season. Well, going into this season, so this offseason. The way that the NFL is cycling back around, everybody's talking about it. I mean, we heard the bullshit from Mel Kiper talk about they need to ban too high because we can't throw against it. And then the quarterbacks looked a lot better this weekend, but that's neither here nor there. The way the NFL is cycling back around, I think you're going to see an emphasis placed on drafting defensive tackles higher than we've seen them in recent years. There's a ton of defensive tackles in this upcoming NFL draft. So if you need a defensive tackle, this is the year for you. If you need a running back, this is the year for you. If you need a linebacker, this is the year for you. So I know everybody's going to be talking about quarterbacks because it's quarterbacks, wide receivers because you have, Tedoror McMillan, Travis Hunter, Luther Burden, those guys. But defensive tackle, running back, linebacker, pay attention to those guys. I'll give you a couple names. Defensive tackle, Tim Keenan from Alabama. Real throwback player. I mean, legit 2-gap player that can give you some pass rush ability. Strong, stout guy. He's going to have a test this weekend against Georgia. But without their guard, Tate Ratledge, starting for Georgia, he should be a guy that kind of dominates that game. L.C. Overton from Bama is another guy to look at from there. Dayon Walker from Kentucky is a fantastic interior player. Then obviously the guys from Michigan, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant, they had a fantastic game against USC after they struggled mightily against Texas. So seeing those guys bounce back and really display what we thought we would see from them week in and week out was nice. So those guys are on the right track. And then throwing out a couple of names at linebacker, Jahad Campbell, Alabama, Smael Mondon, Georgia. Those guys are looking incredible. Francisco Malioga, Miami. A lot of names are going to be in that linebacker conversation. Barrett Carter, Clemson. Harold Perkins Jr. just went down with the injury towards ACL. He's out for the year for LSU. But potentially he's a guy that can still enter the draft. People are still going to like him a lot as an off-ball guy. So those positions that have been kind of quote-unquote devalued by the draft community and by front offices are coming back around in full circle. And I think you're going to see a ton of those guys go early in the draft. And when I say early, I mean top 100 picks. I don't know if it'll be a ton of first rounders again, but you'll see a ton of those guys go in the top 100 picks.
All right, man. Let's wrap this up with something we've been talking about all day here because we are Bears fans. I was at that game in Indy last night, calling it from the booth, man. What's your thought on what you've seen from the Bears this early on this season? What you've seen from Caleb Williams, and how things might have changed from when it was when he was in college. Just give me your overall Bears thoughts right now.
All right, I'll start first with the defense because I want to start with the really good, the positive. The defense looks exactly how we thought the defense was going to look. They look really good. I think they're doing a fantastic job for the amount of bad positions that the offense and the head coach specifically has put them in. They are finding ways to keep people out of the end zone, right? I know that, Coach scored a couple touchdowns. They had a couple drives that look really good. They end up finishing in the end zone. But for the most part, especially when you factor in the turnovers, field position, amount of time they're spending on the field, I think that defense is playing above what you can ask for. And you can't really rely on that for a full season, even though they, the last 9 games last year, I think they were the best defense over that stretch. But they look incredible. You got to help them out a little bit. Offensively, I'll start with the negative. The pass blocking is just, it's hard to explain because it's not like they haven't invested anything into their offensive line. They've tried. The guys are just not playing up to standard. I'm even disappointed with the guy in Darnell Wright, who I thought was, people call me crazy when I say he's going to be OT3 that year. And I really believe he's OT2 based off what he did to Will Anderson in that Tennessee game. But I just did put him up there. And then he gets out and has a really great rookie year. I think he's taken a little bit of a step back to start the season. So I'm a little bit disappointed with a guy like that. But I think overall, when you look at what Caleb did yesterday, there was growing pains for sure. His problems, to me, are all mental, though. They're fixable. It's not like he's the guy that hasn't shown his arm talent. He's not like he's the guy that hasn't shown his toughness. He's gotten up from all the hits. It's not like he's the guy that hasn't shown his pocket awareness. He's still able to finesse the pocket, extend plays, sometimes too much, but get out of the pocket and make those throws. He's displayed all that. But the biggest thing is that the faith in Caleb has shown already, even over 3 games. If you look at his passing chart, and I hate, those fucking analytical nerds, sometimes they lean on it too much, but if you look at his passing chart yesterday, he was throwing the ball all over the field, middle field, right, left, didn't matter what hash they were on. He was spreading the ball across the entire field, and that was incredibly impressive to me for a rookie quarterback in his 3rd game. And it showed me, and this is the 2nd game in a row, that they kept him in the game, the defense that is, and Caleb found a way to get those guys to be in the ball game at the very end. If he could cut back on those couple rookie mistakes that he makes a game, they could probably win those ball games. And that's asking a lot for a guy in his 3rd game, 4th game to do. But the defense is keeping them in the games, and then Caleb is finding a way for those guys to have a chance to win it at the very end. So if they cut out those rookie mistakes, give them a little bit more time. Coach, don't call a fucking pitch on 4th and 1 at the goal line.
Oh my God!
Do some little stuff like that to help them out. I think the Bears should be Bears fans. I understand, like, y'all had a rough patch here. It's been a long time coming. You're really excited about Caleb, and it feels like the walls fucking collapsed already. But trust me, that defense is going to be good enough to keep your ball games. And how Caleb is developing already within the span of 3 games, it's some of the most impressive shit I've seen from a rookie quarterback in a long time. If they can protect him a little bit better and get a run game going, you got to get just a little bit of a run game going so defense can respect it. I'm telling you, I believe Caleb is going to be better than I initially thought he was going to be.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, there's been a sentiment from us. We said in the local hour earlier, and just I say people who actually watch the games. I say that because I think my guy Mikey, who was in the local hour, he said there's a lot of fans out there that watched the game once. I watched the game a couple times. The view I have from the press box is one view, but I like to watch it from the TV view as well. And you see different things. I feel like it's kind of like a last question for you on this is, the offense right now is averaging 12.3 points per game. If you take away what the defense has been doing, what special teams is doing, what do you think Shane Waldron specifically can do to at least get this to respectable?
I don't know the answer to that question because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
And, if you look at what I haven't, I already respected the hell out of this guy, but I have a newfound respect for what Geno Smith was able to do and Russell Wilson over, in Seattle those last couple of years, because I don't want to speak too ill on the guy. I got a lot of relationships out there, but it's just not, he's not been very good. He's making football harder than it has to be. It was a quote, I can't remember from who, but the guy said a lot of offensive coordinators fuck up their prospects of being a head coach by trying to be a head coach. It feels like he's making the game too difficult, trying to prove something to somebody, be this wizard, this guru that everybody looks at as the key behind Caleb Williams and the Bears' resurgence and success. And really, it just needs to be simple football. I mean, you have a guy with dynamic ability. You have a running back that has shown that he has capabilities in DeAndre Swift. I like what's the kid's name? 24. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Khalil Herbert.
Herbert. He's not some game breaker, but he's shown that he could be a decent spell back in the NFL. You have ability in that backfield. So I think they need to make the game a little bit more simpler. Dropping back, how many times did Caleb drop back? 50-something times? And I understand the game kind of dictated that a little bit, but you don't need your rookie quarterback drop it back 50-something times in games like that. You have to try to get the run game going early and not at a detriment to the point where you're down 17-0, 14-0 before you can blink. But you need to go back to a little bit of a powering game. You don't have dynamic, athletic offensive linemen. You don't need to be running lateral stuff to get those guys on the edges. You need downhill stuff. And then in turn, that's going to help the pass protection and kind of spell some of that. So return to basics is what Chicago needs. And then that's why you drafted a guy like Caleb Williams, number one, because he can make the basic look dynamic. He can make the basic look incredible. So if you can get back to that and just play ball control, get first downs, keep that defense off the field, they've shown that they're going to do their part and keep you in the game. So that's what they do, a return to simplicity and let Caleb grow into the dynamic player that he can be. And I think they'll be a pretty damn good team.
Definitely, man. Kai, it's always great to talk to you, man. Y'all can follow him at Kyron Samuels on Twitter. Is there anything you wrote this week that you want to plug? Let the people know where they can check you out.
Just check my writer profile. It's in my bio on Twitter, and I have a lot of stuff there. And then we'll be doing a lot of stuff. We'll be interviewed Jake Elliott, the kicker from the Eagles, last week on my podcast, and we got some pretty nice guests coming up. We got the Matt commissioner, talk a little bit of conference realignment and how Mac is going to be doing going forward. And we got some other NFL players coming up soon. So check there. Everything is in my bio on my Twitter, and I appreciate you guys supporting. Anytime, man. When I can make it on here, I'm going to be here for you. So I appreciate you guys.
Shouts out to Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott is the third biggest and most famous graduate from Lyons Township. Number 2 is David Hasselhoff, and number 1 is J.R. Bay.
Shout out to J.R. Bay. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Kai, we'll holler at you, brother.
Yes, sir.
That is all we've got for y'all on this edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. Finished right in time, 2 minutes for Monday Night Football. Shout out to Kyron Samuels, who'll be joining us during this college football season, giving us the good stuff, man. We had a good episode today, man. I'm gonna return this game on edit, so we put them clips up, man. Shout out to everybody watching. 79th and House be back on Wednesday. Me and Flo is breaking down what happened this past Sunday in Indianapolis, and looking forward to the Rams game on Sunday. You can follow JR Bang at JR Bang, all social media platforms. A new episode of Some Dude should be coming. It's actually out already, right? Did y'all do Some Dude already?
No, we just dropped the episode of First Black Champion.
That's what it was.
Some Dude tomorrow.
Some Dude tomorrow. Summer sessions will be on Thursday. I didn't put that in the chat, but it'll be Thursday. So, because I have designated Tuesday as my new off day, since my weekends do not belong to me during the football season. Tuesday would be my off day. I don't know. This nigga Dante is dying of something. I'm eager to know what I don't know what's what's fun. I want to laugh too, nigga.
Hey, wrap this shit up, man.
Yeah, you can follow Dante at OctoberZone on Twitter. You can follow Courtney at 1-800-CALL-BRO, all social media platforms. Y'all enjoy Monday Night Football. Holler at y'all on Friday.